15th, 2024 meeting of the Town of Southampton Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held live and also via video conferencing in accordance with the Town Board's enactment of Local Law Number 14 of 2022. Our next meeting and those following will also be held in person here at Town Hall and will continue to allow for remote participation. So please keep checking the town's website for updates and any new information. If you wish to view tonight's live meeting only and not participate, please do not join the Zoom meeting and instead go to the town's website for viewing access. With that, I'd ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those of you with us here tonight, in case of emergency evacuation, please exit through the rear doors of this room to one of the staircases across the hall and continue downstairs and out through the main entrance. Do not attempt to use the elevators during an emergency. In case of a medical emergency, the automated external defibrillator and first aid kit are both located in the hallway on this floor opposite the elevator. Restrooms are located across the hall from this room. We'll begin this meeting with public hearings. We have applicants and members of the public here with us live and also standing by via Zoom webinar, which is being monitored or moderated by CTV. CTV will mute the speakers on Zoom until it's their time to give testimony before the board. Please be patient. If you find you're having difficulties accessing the hearing, visit the town clerk's meeting portal and click on the instructions link. Also, for those of you in this boardroom, please silence your cell phones and refrain from speaking to one another as it interferes with the recordings of our proceedings. Tonight, board member Helen Burgess is participating via Zoom. A reminder that applicants, agents, and members of the public speaking other than attorneys will be sworn in, will state their address for the record, and will offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. In order to consider properly every application before us, individuals commenting on a particular application have a time limit of 3 minutes. Also, before handing in any submissions to the board tonight, please make sure that the documents identify the ZBA application name and tax map number. The application name should also be written on your certified receipts. Unless otherwise stated, at the end of each individual application hearing, all applications will remain open for written comments for all purposes until a set date. Those written comments can be addressed to the members of the board and sent via email, mail, and/or dropped off at Town Hall to the board secretary, Candace Cowell. At this time, I would like a motion to approve the minutes of our August 1st, 2024 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Rabin?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. The minutes are approved. John, would you take us through the agenda for the evening?
Okay, starting with adjournments. Number 13 on the agenda, 911 Flanders Road LLC, 9 and 11 Flanders Road, Riverside, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-138-2-31 and 32 will be adjourned to our October 17th meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Ms. Rubin?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Aye. Chair votes aye.
The following decisions will be adjourned to our September 5th meeting. Isaac Furman, Charles and Doreen Levine, and 43 Newtown LLC.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Rubin?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye.
The following decisions will be adjourned to our September 19th meeting. West Hampton Boat Works and Storage LLC, Dennis and Arlene O'Rourke.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Aye. Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Mr. Rubin?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
The decision on the application of Margaret Zach and Robert Zach will be adjourned to the February 20th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Rabin?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye.
I move to reopen the application of Dilip Patel and Savjit Kaur Dillon and schedule a public hearing for September 5th.
Second.
Yeah, first just reopen it.
Oh, two separates? Okay. So I move to reopen the application of Dilip Patel and Savjit Kaur Dillon.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Mr. Rappi?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I move to schedule the public hearing on that application for September 5th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to reopen the application of Patricia Spado for written decision.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Mr. Rappi?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I move to close the application of Patricia Spado for written decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to reopen the application of Argon Ashlani.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Mr. Rappi?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I move to close the application of Argon Ashlani for written decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I move to reopen the application of 142C Newtown LLC.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Mr. Rappi?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And I move to close the application of 142C Newtown LLC for written decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay,
Okay.
I got everything. Okay, let's move to the top of the agenda, starting with application number 1. Judson Ein Revocable Trust, 1041 Head of Pond Road, Watermill, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-81-1-25.2. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations that references Section 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal front yard setback from 80 feet to 62.5 feet for a proposed two-story addition to an existing dwelling and any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction. You pass that to Bob.
This is a minor variation, so
Yeah.
there's no hearing on this matter.
Yes.
So Bob, you go ahead and,
This is a minor variation, no public hearing required. We are going to close it and hold it open for, have a decision later on tonight.
is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Rappi?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. It's a decision tonight.
Okay, number 2 on the agenda, Richard A. Hand, 1619 Sag Road, Sag Harbor, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-26-2-40.4. Applicant requests the following relief from Town Code, Section 330-11.2F, Special Standards for proposed accessory apartment which will be located in a detached accessory building on a non-conforming lot, a lot area of 149,518 square feet, 74.76% of 200,000 square feet, where 160,000 square feet is required, 80% of 200,000 square feet, and any other relief necessary.
The board has
Got that.
jurisdiction. Can you pass that to John Leonard?
Okay.
Are you an attorney? You are an attorney,
Yes.
right?
Good evening.
Yes, please state your name and address.
Alice Cooley, 241 Panago Road in East Hampton, on behalf of Richard Hand. Sag Road. So this is an application for an accessory apartment. As you know, the lot is required either to be conforming or 80% of the required lot area, and we are just under that number. My client has already received his DEC permit, his Conservation Board permit, his Health Department permit for the accessory structure, and we are looking for that variance relief from this board. We are at about 75% of the required yard. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
John, this is your application. Do you have any, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I really don't, I think this is not a very complex application, to be quite honest with you. I think the relief being sought is completely within the guidelines, so I don't have anything further. If anyone else has any questions?
This is a large piece of property.
It is.
Right. I mean, it's 149,000 square feet, so we're not talking about a tiny little lot. So I had no problems with this application. Does anybody else have
No.
comments? And we do encourage accessory apartments, so we're really thrilled about that. So John, do you want to take us to the next step of what we're going to do?
Yes, I move to close this application for written submission.
Oh, wait a second,
Oh,
wait a
hold on,
second,
hold on.
wait a second,
Oh, you
sorry.
gotta- yeah,
Yes,
do that.
sorry, I'm so sorry. So is there anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on this matter?
That's not.
Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this matter? Okay, John, now
Okay,
you
I
can
move
do
to
it.
close the application for written submissions on September 6th with a decision by September 19th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Redmond.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 3 on the agenda, South Country LLC, 88 South Country Road, Rensenburg, Sion, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-368-4-71.5. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed tennis court. 1. 330-6 General Regulations that references 330-11 Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory distance from street setback front yard from 70 feet to 20 feet. And 2. 330-76D Placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and 330-83C yards to allow the tennis court to be located within the required front yard for the principal building and any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction. Can you pass those down? I have the originals.
For the applicant, David Gilmartin Jr., Greenberg Troy, 2317 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton, New York, for South Country LLC. While the relief may sound large, in 1994, this board granted a variance to the then owner for a setback to 30 feet from the front yard, and 4 feet of that something. That decision is in the packet that I handed up, and it's the first thing that we provided there. And that variance stands today. Our request here tonight is to reduce that 30 feet to 20 feet to allow further separation between the house, the pool, and the proposed tennis court. The really compelling factor in the development of this piece of property is the fact that it has 3 front yards. The front yard with respect to Mill Road, which you see here, runs at an angle towards Main Street, and we have to maintain the front yard setback. That pushes the house and all of the improvements toward the rear, where the property then expands out. As you can see here, it juts out and it is much wider in the back. So we've tried to push the improvements to the back to screen it from the street. The other compelling factor here is if you look at the photographs that we've provided, from the exterior, this is a shot from, I'm standing across Mill Lane looking at where the tennis court would be located. This shot, I'm standing right here, directly looking that way, and you can see the screening that surrounds it with that
Is
fence.
that on Mill Lane?
That's on Mill Lane looking at the property. The next shot is looking at the property, on the property, looking at the property across on Mill Lane. That neighbor, when I was taking some photographs, when we were doing the application, came out to talk to me. I asked what we were doing, I told him, and he said that he didn't have any problem with it.
The neighbor across the street.
The neighbor here,
Uh-huh.
across on Mill Lane, I
Mill
think
Lane.
he's really the one impacted. Our neighbor to the west, who wrote you a letter, I'm not sure the point of it, but we're actually moving the tennis court away from him, so he should be happy. And then have sort of a panoramic view of the rear of the property here. You'll see there's some beautiful landscaping, which is really the reason why we want to, one of the reasons why we want to put it in the corner. It just makes more sense. Finally, I've put in a aerial photograph which shows that there are a number of tennis courts in the area. It's at least 50% of the property, so that's a characteristic of the neighborhood. Again, the benefit is to be able to create some separation between the pool and the tennis court. There's really no discernible detriment that I can see from moving the court 10 feet, especially considering the fact that we would also maintain the 4-foot sunken nature of it. And you can tell from the screening, both inside and out, that it'll never be seen by anybody from the street. We talked about the character of the neighborhood with the tennis courts and the mature screening, which has been there since the property was originally developed. This is the new house was built on it. There's no way that we can achieve the benefit based on the 3 front yards. We're sort of stuck. It's really the functional rear yard, but because it's on Mill Lane, it's a front yard.
But the original variance was for 30 feet from Mill Road.
Right.
So can you explain why none of this has been built yet, correct?
The house and the pool are built. The tennis court has not.
So what was the decision to basically switch the configuration from?
I
Because it
didn't.
would seem that
Right.
the tennis court, would that have been probably where the house currently is?
No,
Is that the
the
original
house.
plan?
The house was always in this spot. It was knocked down and then rebuilt. It's always been in that spot. I think that's probably a typo because I
It
thought
wasn't a
I
typo, but it might have been an error. I picked up the same thing. It says Mill Road clearly in the variance, so I
Right.
think that
had,
there needs to be an acknowledgement of some sort when we consider this one.
right.
Dave, I think just maybe submit the survey that goes along with that variance, because it does show it being in a very similar.
Yes,
location.
That was my recollection. So maybe they just mixed up Mill Road.
Mill
Lane.
Lane and the
Okay,
road,
so
yeah.
I'll submit that variance. With respect to the impact to the environment, there's none. It's a tennis court and it's moving 10 feet. With respect to the self-created hardship, that's probably a toss-up argument, right? It's a luxury item as a tennis court, but we are impacted by the 3 front yards, so.
But it is extremely well screened.
Yeah.
Is
It
it
is
sunken, gonna be
sunken.
sunken also?
It's gonna be something, yeah.
I
And-
don't
and-
think there was ever access on Old Mill Lane over there. I know that area extremely well. I don't think there was ever access off Old Mill, was there?
The,
Access to the property
Yeah.
or
there's-
for other
No,
people?
to the property. I think it's always been
Right.
off of
It was-
South Country, right?
It was for the house that was there was off of Mill Road. Now it's off of Main Street.
Yeah, but there was never access off
It
of
got
Old Mill.
closed up, so again, you can't see it from that angle. The tennis court will be blocks from the house and it's gotta be, oh gosh, it's gotta be 300 feet from Main Street looking that way.
And David, if I can just check, this aerial photograph is what's on premises right now? No, because I'm a little confused between, when it says proposed pool and proposed house, you're not proposing that this is getting torn down as part of the project, right?
No,
Okay.
what proposed has, remember that this has been pending before
I
you for about
understand.
6 months.
No, I
The house has been
understand,
built.
I just want to be sure I'm
Yes.
reading what I'm reading accurately.
And what's there is what's gonna be there. The pool's built, the house is built.
So this is built and the
Yep.
house is built.
Yes,
And the tennis court is 55 by 110.
yes.
Okay,
I've learned my lesson.
you've learned your lesson.
That's
That's
the key.
good. Good to know. Good to know.
How long did it take?
Anyway,
I'm
couple of years.
stubborn, yeah.
Couple of years. Okay, any questions from the board on this? I do think we need to clarify what Katie said, to submit the original survey that goes along with the variances to show that it was probably an error. Saying
In the
it was,
variance, right.
yeah, right, in the original variance.
I will do that. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to get an original, but I can get the one off the GIS.
Yeah, the one that's scanned.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I mean, we,
Okay.
yeah, no. Any more questions from the board? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on the application of 88 South Country Road?
Yes.
You
You can come to the podium or you can come to the
sit.
table, one of the, Whichever you feel more comfortable, either sitting here or at the podium.
I stand actually.
Okay, good.
If I can lean.
Okay, good. Are you an attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let me swear you in.
Okay,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is John Baldwin. My address is 27 Old Mill Lane. I am the neighbor to the west.
Okay, let me take a look at the survey and see where you are.
So you're represented by Jim Hume?
Correct.
He wrote the letter on
He
your
was
behalf.
unable to
He's
make
right
it today.
Okay.
I'm sorry, he's right here.
No, he's there, yeah, west. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Baldwin, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So I would like to register an objection to the variance, but, and maybe some of it is, you were talking about setbacks, errors and whatever, but what I saw in the application here said 20 feet from Mill Lane, or I assume Old Mill Lane, where 70 feet is required as established. If it's 20 feet from Old Mill Lane, from the road to the existing stockade fence is approximately 10 feet. And so going in to make it 20 feet would be just 10 feet in from the stockade fence that is along Old Mill Lane. Now, if it's 20 feet from the stockade fence, then it would appear to be, further setback in.
It should be 20 feet from the property line.
From the property line.
And I
Okay,
think the
this says
stockade
this says from Mill Lane, so I assume that was from the
Well,
road.
Generally speaking, the property line is not on the road frontage. It's
Right, no,
usually-
I know the property line's inside.
So it'll be
Right.
20 feet from that line in.
Okay, that was not clear
On
in
the
the
survey-
submission here.
On the survey, it shows it at 20 feet from the stockade fence.
Right. Okay, I just wanted to
Okay.
make that clear,
Okay,
Yes,
because
the
there
stockade
was,
fence is about on the property line.
Yes.
It hovers.
right. And the other concern is that given where they're locating, trying to shoehorn this thing in to the property, there does not seem to be any undertaking to preserve the mature landscaping all around. It's there now, but my concern is what happens when they or whoever subsequent person is starts building this tennis court, and are they going to be starting to take out some of that landscaping?
so would you like a stipulation that that there's a requirement that they maintain?
I'd like to have a stipulation that the existing landscaping, as well as the existing stockade fencing, remain.
And the landscaping you're talking about is the buffer, I don't know what kind.
There are actually
Is it privet?
there are actually two buffers. One is the buffer along our property, and then
Well, we're not talking about your property.
no,
we're talking
and the
about
other one is the buffer along Mill Road.
on their
Excuse me,
property.
not Mill Road, Old Mill Lane.
Oh, no.
On their property.
On their property.
Right, so
Yes.
it's the hedge, the
Yes.
big hedge. You'd like,
There's-
so
there's-
we can very easily make a condition of granting the variance that they maintain that,
That mature landscaping
mature
and
landscaping
the
and-
fencing.
And
around.
given that Mr. Gilmartin was so careful to explain and show us pictures of it, I'm sure that there wouldn't be a problem with the applicant.
Right.
Is that correct?
Well, I mean, we have to define what the landscaping is. Anything on the property line, yes. If we have to take out some in the interior to install the court.
But you're
All right.
talking about the property line.
Well, I'm talking about property line, but also inside of the property line. And the purpose of the letter that Mr. Hume sent to Mr. Gilmartin, that Mr. Gilmartin said he didn't understand the purpose of, is basically because the fencing on that abuts our property is inside of the developer's property line. And my concern is that we've been maintaining, it's like a 10-foot for part of it, and then it goes down. And the concern is that they start moving the stockade fencing, which creates issues with the landscaping, which creates issues, in my mind, potentially with the tennis court, et cetera, in terms of the impact on, the neighborhood. Leaving aside the impact on us, the impact on the neighborhood. So, having
Excuse
said
me,
that,
if I could ask you, I understand that you're a little hobbled because Mr. Hume is not here, but he references wanting an appropriate boundary line agreement.
Right.
Do you understand what that means? What he's
uh,
talking about and why you
what-
need a boundary line agreement?
what I take that to mean is basically because when we bought our property almost 25 years ago, and even preceding that, the existing fence line that runs from, and fence and landscaping line that runs from Olddale Lane down to South Country Road was pre-existing. And, so I'm gonna say for 35 years maybe. And so the developer, when he, sometime around April, I think it was, started staking out boundary stakes to represent the actual boundary line that was, inside to the west on our side of the fence line. So given that we've had that sliver of property for 25 years on our side and have maintained it and whatever, we want to establish an agreement that, someday he's not going to decide to, move the fence line in and, tear down some landscaping that he thinks is impinging and whatnot. So, you have to talk to Mr. Hume to get the legal
From what I
significance of it.
understand, the fence is not on the property line. The fence is, the stockade fence is not on the property line.
No, it's inside of the property line.
Inside the property line.
Right.
And that has been there for,
Right to the west.
I'm going to say probably
Okay.
35 years.
but the fact of the matter is that the property extends beyond that fence.
Correct. His property, the developer's property
right,
extends
right,
beyond.
right.
So the stockade fence is positioned inside the
Right.
property line on
Right.
the
Correct.
applicant's property.
Correct.
And so
Yes.
your concern is that that will grow to the property line. Well, that seems to me not anything within our purview,
Yeah.
first of all. And just a moment.
Sure.
I don't think that's anything within our purview other than that we can require as a condition of this variance that certain landscaping on those lines be maintained.
Correct. And I'm not here to suggest that the issue of the boundary line is,
You'll fight over that
and
before
so
you
that's a
sell
whole
the
different,
house.
that's a whole different thing. My concern is more the maintenance of the mature landscaping that's on the other side of that stockade fence.
And it seems to me like it would be a good idea for your attorney, Mr. Gilmartin, to discuss any issues with regard to boundary line agreements that may be necessary at a later
Absolutely.
date. But
And
not
if-
here.
If I can clarify, is it, you just want good robust screening? Is that the issue?
Good,
Right, because that's the issue. It's not the specific shrub in a specific location, that's the issue. It's you want
good robust screening,
which is what's there now.
which is what's there now.
And you want to have at the end of all this, the same thing.
Correct.
Okay.
So I guess just in my
I
layperson, in
need
my
a
layman's.
clarification, Mr. Baldwin. Who maintains the current screening that's there right now?
The screening that's on the east side of the stockade fence
Is there?
is maintained by the
But
developer.
now, is there screening on the west side of the stockade
There-
fence that's
there
within,
are-
inside the property
There are
line?
some trees, lawn, some bushes further down that we maintain.
Between the
Great
stockade
shot.
fence and the property line, what's between that? I think it looks like about, what, how many feet?
Where the tennis court is supposed to go in, there are three large, call them cypress trees
By the
maybe.
way, we're well beyond our.
And then there's some other bushes around.
Okay.
The,
You know, we often in our decisions, we do stipulate the maintenance of, you know, existing vegetation and make it a condition of the variance. Katie, what's your suggestion on this?
In terms of what? Screening?
Yeah, the screening, just, I mean, it's
It's
kind
what
of,
you think is appropriate. If you look, I mean,
Maintain
again, it's
existing
what you
screening.
think is appropriate, but it looks to me like the tennis court up here is closest to your driveway,
correct.
right? So I would suggest that you just require screening to be maintained where it's gonna be most,
Right.
it's impacting his driveway. It's not
Yeah,
down here.
yeah, okay.
May I ask a question though of the board?
Okay, but we do limit
Okay.
our time, but yes, go ahead.
I'm happy
If
to
you-
get
We'll
off.
give you one more
Um,
question.
The last question has to do with lighting.
Doesn't say
And I
lighting on the court,
presume that there is not
No lighting on the court.
on the court, okay, because there is landscape lighting that the
You can have
developers put in
landscaping around the
that
court
is
too,
There's no
right?
lighting on the court.
perfect.
And it's
Thank
gonna,
you.
the court will be sunken how many feet?
4.
4 feet
Okay.
with, I assume with landscaping around the court.
Great.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Baldwin.
You can get.
Okay.
You
You can both come up. Okay, are either of you attorneys?
No.
Let me swear you in now. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your name and address individually.
Joseph Labriola, 27 Mill Road, Remsenburg, New York.
Can you spell your last name?
L-A-B as in boy, R-I-O-L-A.
Okay,
Barbara Labriola,
okay,
27 Mill Road, Remsenburg.
okay. Let us have your comments.
Okay, so I'll keep it quick. So my property, okay, my property runs north to south from Mill Road, and the side of the property is on Old Mill Lane. So the side of my backyard,
Across the street from.
correct, runs, you probably see it on the pictures he showed you before, that Mr. Gilmartin showed you, but my property is right across my backyard. My biggest concern when we received this was that they were doing a variance from 70 to 20 feet. I thought 20 feet from the property line was awful close, and asking for 50 feet of relief was a lot. And, you know, the first thought you're hearing is the ball banging right across in my backyard. And that was my simple bone of contention, if you will, that they're asking for 50 feet of relief, and it's right across the street from the yard.
This application is unique in the sense that there are 3 front yards, all of which would require 70-foot setbacks. And that's what, you know, so in order to find a place for the tennis court, you often have to come up with a pretty significant variance. So you're across the street, you're across Mill Lane?
And my property
Okay, and
runs-
how far is your house from your property line?
How far is my house and my
Yeah,
property line? From the side, from Mill Lane, from Mill Lane?
Yeah,
From Old Mill Lane, my house is probably, probably 25 feet to the property line and maybe 40 feet to the road. I mean, I don't know exactly, to be
Okay,
honest
because
with you.
it's-
But it's more the whole, you know, it's the back of the house and then the backyard.
Do you have a building in that area too? Like the aerial looks like maybe you do, like a shed or something?
I have a shed all the way on the north side of the property.
Do you have one
In
on,
fact,
do you have one on Old Mill, is this you here?
That's a child's playground.
Okay,
that's a
but this
child
is you here, right across the street, right?
Correct.
Okay, because you have 2 front yards too, right? You
Yeah.
have this and this.
Yeah, and this is town land back here.
Oh, so
That's a recharge.
Okay,
That's a recharge station.
Is that a fence surrounding that section?
That is a
he's
fence.
the one that's right
It's a
across
wood,
the
it looks
street.
like a wooden fence. Go to my phone,
A wooded fence, no,
Is that-
it's a metal fence on the Old Mill side.
Okay,
This is, I have a pool, so
it's all fenced in.
it's all fenced in, correct. And then the town has its own fence behind the property, running on its property line where the recharge station is. So the biggest concern I had was obviously the close proximity to the backyard, to be quite candid. That was what struck us first. And, you know, to your comment earlier about having 3 sides, I mean, that's an acre and 3 property, 3 acre, almost 2 acres, an acre and 3/4 property that they developer bought. So it has three sides, but it's not a small piece of property. And they replaced a 2,600 square foot home with a 7,500 square foot home. So-
It's not asking for a variance, so
Yeah.
we don't deal with
Okay.
that.
But the issue is number 12 or number 25 were to put tennis courts in, they would be closer to your house.
I'm sorry?
If number 12, number 25 Mill or number 12 on Old Mill would put a tennis court in their backyard, they would be closer to your house,
If number 12,
which is behind you.
no, I don't think so.
If you
They wouldn't be closer to me.
continue going down Old Mill Lane, go around the little curve.
No way, because the town, there's a whole buffer of the town the town recharge station.
What about 25, which is next door?
25 next door? He has a pool. I don't know if he has room for tennis courts
Okay, let's.
behind the pool.
Okay.
Now, David, you showed us the screening on Old Mill Lane,
Yeah,
and does it run the entire side of that?
It runs all the way
And
through
how
Mill
high-
Road.
Right, and how high is that screening? It's mature?
A step taller than me, 8 to 10 feet maybe. It's pretty, I gave you a picture.
Okay.
Here's a picture looking
Right.
at
Yeah.
Mr. Labriola's property.
Yeah. You know, the other thing is that there is an existing variance, we assume for this particular mill lane of 30 feet. He's now asking for 20. So it's not like he's going from 70 to 20.
But where was
He
that
has-
30 feet? Was it
Is it on Mill Lane?
It's on Mill Lane?
Yeah, we're pretty sure it was on Mill
Yeah, I've
Lane.
got I found
From
the
a
site.
variance
did.
from 1994
It was
For a
from Mill
tennis
Lane,
It was
correct.
from Mill Lane.
for a
Yeah.
tennis court.
So it's not like going 70 to
Yeah, that-
20, you know, it's like going 30 to 20, essentially.
Thanks.
Okay.
So we could, again,
Yeah.
as we discussed before, we could condition the variance on maintenance of the screening on Old Mill Lane.
You want this to go to?
I mean, the only thing I do
And
is
it's
I'm
gonna be
looking,
something, I mean,
I'm still opposed.
Okay.
I was just
Okay.
looking at 70 feet.
okay.
Okay.
I get, you know, I truly understand that you're opposed to it and why, so, thank you, we're gonna take that into consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Just quickly in response
Yeah.
to, certainly to Mr. Baldwin, what I don't understand about the letter, it says, while my client has no real issue with the relief you were seeking for the tennis court, then they talk about the impact on the stockade fence. First thing he says is opposed to the tennis court, so that created a little bit of confusion for me. And the other reason I'm confused is the location of the tennis court is actually better for his property, moving it away from where his house is located.
Right, but I think we've resolved it with
Yeah.
him in terms of,
It's just, it's an unusual,
requiring screening.
it's an unusual way to ask for
okay.
a
Well-
boundary line agreement, right?
But there was an ask, and if you could talk to your client about that, and maybe they could.
I
work
have,
on
and
it
I
separately.
called Mr. Young today, I got the letter yesterday, called Mr. Young today, he didn't favor me with a call back,
Okay.
knowing that this was happening.
Okay, well, I'm sure you'll be
Try
able to
again.
come up with some, but I think, you know, I think the general gist of everything is that very happy with the mature vegetation that's on this property and that we want to continue that as a stipulation in the variance. Is that pretty much where everybody's coming
Yes,
from
on
on
both
this?
sides.
On all sides,
Yeah.
Right.
on all
Just,
sides.
You know, the existing
Well,
or
there's two.
equivalent, right, if we can put equivalent in, right, because things die and get replaced, but we're happy to put the equivalent in.
Okay. We have good language for that we've
Okay,
used in the
terrific.
past, so we'll be using that language again. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 88 South Country Road? Okay, Helen, this is yours. Do you want me to take it? Go ahead.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Burgess? Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane? Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Scriven?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank
And
you.
you have the survey shown.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. We'll need to take a look.
Number
at
4 on the agenda, Megan Bishop and Sean Mutig, 3 Oldfield Road, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-60-1-15. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code. 1, for a proposed screen porch on a non-conforming lot, section 330-115C, continuance for a principal front yard setback, east property line, North Sea Road, from the existing 48.7 feet to 31.5 feet. And 2, for proposed second-story addition, section 330-84D, period law for south sky plane encroachment in the amount of 4,503 cubic feet and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Can you pass that to Bob?
Mr. Gilmartin, are you representing this applicant?
I am
You wanna
representing this applicant.
State your name and address again.
For the applicant, David Gilmartin Jr., Greenberg Shore, 2317 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton, New York, and I have my client,
You
Sean.
need to get sworn in.
Here.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. State your name and address.
Sean Music, 3 Oldfield Road, Southampton, New York.
Okay, Sean, good. Okay,
Also, I just want to state for the record, if anybody will be traveling west, it seems that the traffic has opened up. My daughter's coming from Hampton Bays, and she said they passed her.
Come in, collect your money, and get out.
Which one goes to
okay.
Doug?
All right.
Okay, when we were preparing for this hearing, I noticed there was a discrepancy between the site plan and the survey. So I have new packages of the site plan that were prepared by Mark Matthews' office. And what has happened is it has resulted in the reduction of the pyramid law relief that we're asking for. So it went from, it went to 4347 from the 46 that we had originally asked for based on that change. This property is located in the Conscience Point area. The applicant's goal here is to expand what is a very modest sized home. They plan to expand their family. The property is, this one's only challenged with 2 front yards. And it is also challenged in that it's exceedingly narrow, long but narrow. So at the area where we're planning to do the improvement, it's approximately 57 feet wide, which is the factor that has resulted in the request for the pyramid law relief. If we look at the site plan, we can see that the location here is 3150 from North Sea Road, and I will show you some pictures. On the other side of North Sea Road is the Conscience Point Marina parking lot, so there's really nobody affected as we move that way. Again, the benefit that we're looking for is a increase in the size of the square footage and usability of the house as Ms. Bishop and Mr. Mutig plan to expand their family. This is similar to the case that I just had in that there's a prior decision that granted some relief, and it was in 2023. I think some of you were on the board at that time. As the planning and construction plans were being drawn, Ms. Bishop and Mr. Mutig realized that the expansion was smaller than what they really wanted. So we're asking for just some additional relief. And the board did notice at the time that we were that we made the original application of the challenges. So you can see from the original variance went to 38, so we're increasing this 3-season room, which is the necessity for the variance on that side. I brought some pictures. So this is looking across North Sea Road from approximately where, this is in the package that I gave you, but where the 3-season room would be. You can see there's a hedge. This is a photograph of the current porch that exists, and that's where the 3-season room will go. And finally, I have an aerial view. So this is the property. We look across, and see the parking lot from Conscience Point Marina. So nobody's impacted as we move closer. When Mr. Muti called and said he wanted to come back, I said, well, let's talk to the neighbors, right? Let's see what the neighbors think. They had agreed to the original expansion. We have given you, first of all, a map of the neighbors. This is a subject property. It's a map of the neighbors who have all written beautiful letters, which are included in your package, that they don't have an objection and actually look forward to an upgrade of the property. The one neighbor who I think would probably be the most impacted is here. Mr. Mutik spoke to him personally. He can relate that conversation, but he was supportive as well. He just didn't get around to giving us a letter. So before even making the application, we talked to the neighbors and tried to get everybody on board, which they did. It's a modest-sized house, 3 bedrooms. It will be commensurate with the area, especially as these lots become improved. It's a very quaint area in the town. Again, the challenge and why we need a variance is it's about 57 feet wide here, so going up to a second floor is going to require variance relief. What brings us here is we have a little bit of a higher ceiling on the second floor. Is it 2 feet?
Yeah, it's 10
It
feet.
says 6 inches.
6 inches.
How
6 inches.
high are the current ceilings?
The current ceilings are from 8
So
to
you want a
8.5.
10-foot ceiling?
No, I think it's gonna make it an 8.5.
We have this
All right.
Mark Matthews
All right.
is the architect. He
I
can
need
talk
to
about
swear
that.
you in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Mark Matthews, 220 Shore Road, Southampton, New York. The present ceilings are 8 feet, and we want to go all the way up to 8 feet 6. We know we're up against the pyramid. We just want a little more room in the rooms. He's a big guy. And, but it's not 10 feet, it's not 9 feet, just 8 feet 6, and we'd like to do that. So, and I must say, I was overwhelmed by the neighborhood support.
Did you calculate it, what it would have been at 8 feet?
Well, that was the original
That was
variance.
the original variance.
Yes.
That was the, okay.
That was the
Wait, even with the
original variance,
extension?
and you made a very compelling argument that you were trying to be modest in, I remember because I was on the board and I
You
think I had the lead on the application. You were going to make a very modest request for pyramid relief. You were going to limit it to 8 feet. You're going to try to design the house to mitigate its impact on the neighborhood. And, it was, I think, did you come in with a higher amount originally? I think
No.
you didn't. All right,
No, I
you
didn't.
came in with that amount,
We
yeah.
came in with that,
And
we-
which was more in keeping with what we generally approve in terms of pyramid relief. And all of us, I guess, all right, did you want to make more of a presentation before I make a
I would
comment?
just one, I think, significant comment is the maximum height here is 32 feet. Right? And this is at 30, so we tried to keep it under the maximum height. And I think the significant support is the neighbor here to our south. And that's who we concentrated on. And Sean went to speak to him to make sure that he wasn't negatively impacted by it, and he was not. And then otherwise, we went through the neighborhood and talked to everybody there. This neighbor across the street, if you read the letters, they're beautifully done. And it's not that generally the lawyer writes it and then somebody signs it. These people took their time and wrote beautiful letters, which
I didn't see the date on 4 of them. They weren't dated.
Right,
Were
but they're
they
not
to the-
necessarily dispositive. It's a factor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. But
It's
I mean,
not
they weren't for the
anything.
original, they weren't support for the original
no,
application.
these
This
are-
was all new
yes.
supports.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't see the dates on some of them, so I didn't know whether it was from the original.
all new.
Dave, did you initially say that, because we advertised it for 4,503, is that the correct number, or did you say something different right when you started?
I said something
You
different.
corrected it to 4347, I think.
4347?
They're in that package.
And that was as a result of what again?
there was a discrepancy between the site plan and the survey on the setback.
Thanks.
The site plan was at 31, the survey was at 31.6, the 5. And there is this is the new site plan submission that shows the pyramid and gives the number.
Can I get a couple of questions in?
Sure.
So, I went to the site and, the fill on the premise looks like it's 3 or 4 feet above grade. So a tall house, already 3 or 4 feet above grade, can be a bit imposing. The property is open on the corner facing the east. I get why. It's a nice water view potentially. So I'm just trying to balance, you already have a variance granted, and now there's an additional request, and I'm just trying to reconcile, what could be a fairly imposing structure with, anybody walking by, riding their bike, driving by, and trying to grapple with how to manage for that. And I understand that you want the view of the water, but maybe everybody doesn't want to see a substantial size structure just literally, before them. When, I agree the house is a very nice amount of size, considering it fits for the lot. So I'm just trying to manage for that. And then the last question I just had is, did you think about or could you consider, you have a proposed screened-in porch on the other side of the house where you have a deck, and would it be less imposing if you just flipped your, the plan and tried to do that, which may lessen the bulk of the size of what the public sees when they come around the corner? I know it's easy for me to say that, and I don't say it lightly, but I'm just wondering, it would be less potentially obtrusive if that were considered, and I just ask you to think about that.
I'd offer 3 things. First off, the elevation of the land by the road that was kind of flattened out didn't affect the elevation of the existing land at the house. So that this house isn't benefiting from the ground coming higher. And not only that, the foundation is the same foundation. The floor is at the same level. We're not doing anything to artificially raise the grade so as to raise the floors. Just want to make sure that that's clear.
I wasn't suggesting that, I was just talking about
Some people
size and mass, but go ahead.
And then I'd also say that the house, the size of the house and the mass of the house, where it's positioned, that's where the house is right now. Having the screened-in porch on the water side of the house isn't really where the bulk of the pyramid relief is generated from. It's from the second story of the house, located in the same position the house is now.
What are the ceiling heights on the first floor?
Now, 8 feet.
So the applicant is a big man and needs 6 extra inches on the upstairs, but not on the downstairs?
No, I think he's increasing both, right?
No, he's increasing 6 inches on the upstairs, and that's all.
No, it's on both floors.
6 inches both, so it's a foot, so it's a full foot.
Yes.
You're going higher.
And it's, as Mr. Martin said, the height of the roof is 30 feet, where we could go 32 feet by rights.
So we've been talking right now about how it's just 6 inches,
Yeah.
but it's 12 inches.
It's total, yes.
Yes.
I think in answer to your question, Mr. McDonald, I think if you're traveling along North Sea Road, I think the difference between what was originally approved and then what we're requesting is imperceptible. I don't think there's going to be any more massing. I think the thing to notice is that this is a 1-story, 3-season room with a roof deck on it. So that's, there's a step back where it then gets taller. So I don't think it has that massing it has that massing effect.
So the variance request of the 31.5 versus the 48 or whatever it was originally
For-
is for a one-story, not a
Correct.
two-story.
Correct, that's correct.
Okay.
The two-story is at
It
what is
starts
our
where it-
existing setback.
at
which
the
is
48.
48,
Yeah.
that's
So,
correct.
but I was not here when this was originally before the board, but I'm trying to understand what changed between the original variance request and now. Why the extra
To
6
gain- to
inches
gain-
twice?
To gain a little headroom in the house, it seemed tight.
I understand what 6 inches is. I think part of what I'm gathering from my colleagues is that they made a grant of relief, and now you're back again for more relief, and I'm not sure I understand what's compelling about the new request, because the conditions existed before.
Right.
I
I
would
think that's what
absolutely agree with that.
I agree with that as well. I mean, that's my hesitation on this.
We are loath to provide piecemeal relief, inch by inch by inch. And I honestly am not offended by the 31.5 feet at all. I understand if you need additional space to move out horizontally. I remember the original application. I was here for the original application. I did not vote on it. I personally think that the original application was too much relief. That's my opinion. And I would not be favorable to adding another 800 or so cubic feet.
You know, I think that it was a high amount of pyramid relief requested, and, you know, it's a small piece of property, and, you know, and we understand that there are limitations in terms of width and everything else. But I thought that we had kind of understood from what the presentation was that, you know, that was acceptable at the time, and I'm with John in the sense of, you know, this piecemeal relief. You know, we give relief and then you kind of wait a little while, and then I mean, I'm not, you know, maybe these weren't your, you know, this is like, that's not my phone. I just want everybody to know he's in the restroom. Anyhow, so I'm really, I agree in terms of the 31 feet. That doesn't bother me as much. It's a one-story addition. I think you've got, you know, it's open. There's a road there. It goes right across the street. You've got the hedge and everything else. But I'm not convinced yet about the pyramid relief. Anybody else want to
Agreed.
comment from the board?
Yes, right here.
Okay, Helen?
I agree with John. Totally. This is much too much. And I think I was in no on the original report. So I'm certainly not going to be a yes on this one.
I think I was a yes on the original, but I'm maybe a no on the secondary. Go ahead, Helen. Anything more? Okay.
Thank you. I think we stay with.
Okay.
For the record, I think more creativity is needed here.
In terms of the 31 feet or in terms of the pyramid?
Compressing the size of the mass, so the pyramid, I'm less concerned about the 31 feet, I am more concerned about mass and size.
Okay. Okay. From what I'm going to ask if there's anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on 3 Old Field Road. Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 3 Old Field Road? Okay, Robert, we're just about to, do you have any comments on the?
No.
Okay.
I think Mr. Ricci would like to speak.
Okay, go ahead.
So with, we've lived in this property for almost 10 years now.
Mhm.
This is our forever home. It's going to be our forever home. We both work and volunteer locally. And to be where we are, we're very blessed in the location we live in.
You are, it's a beautiful spot.
We went around to all the neighborhoods. We showed them the plans. They asked for any feedback. They all said it looked great. And you know, with wanting to build a family, which I won't go into much detail, there's certain requirements needed. We want to build our family there. My wife's 13th generation Southampton. She actually, her relatives, ancestors rather, landed right down the road at Conscious Point. It's very special to us. I understand at first, we had some monetary issues. We've since made the financial arrangements through HELOC and refi to be able to build our dream home. And like I said, we went around to all the neighbors in the area. They had nothing but positive feedback. And this is well before today. And since then, everybody was very excited. They saw the signs up, said, "Oh, any luck? Any luck?"
I think you're going to build a lovely home. I just, and I'm, it's a beautiful spot, and I wish you well forever there. But I have a problem with the increase in the pyramid relief. I mean, if there's some way you can be more creative about that and come down, maybe we would reconsider it. But, again, I particularly have a problem since in 2023, we gave you the variance, and it was a compelling argument then for us to give that variance, which was significant. So I don't think that you've got 4 votes on the board to approve the pyramid relief at this point. Am I wrong in that?
No, I would
No,
also
you're
like
right.
to note something that we do take into consideration when people have growing families, that they do need to expand the square footage of where they live. But this is not expanding square footage to put in an additional bedroom or any kind of other necessity. This is raising the ceiling heights. It's
Nice.
a very different thing to us.
Right now, we only have 2 Jack and Jill
Right,
bedrooms
but adding
upstairs.
6 inches to the ceiling height is not going to give you extra living space.
I understand that.
It's going to give you more
The
headroom.
width of it gives it more natural light, makes it seem bigger than it really is.
Understood.
So
Yeah.
That
what we'll
should
do
have,
is
that
if
could have
you
been
leave
part
it
of the
open,
original
Okay,
application.
let us
let's
come
leave it
back.
open, yeah. Why don't you do that, come back, take a look at the plans again, and see if,
I'll just take the 8-foot ceilings. because-
you don't want to come back?
Not really.
So would you like to withdraw this application?
Well,
Or
Or
just,
part of it.
or limit it
You,
to?
yeah, you want to talk about it, this is the decision.
Do you want us to second call you?
Good. Look,
I mean, the only problem that I have, hold on, the only problem that I have with saying you can come back and be creative is that you're still asking for more pyramid relief. And we've already given you pyramid relief in the first round. And you put us in a very difficult position with regard to that, because then we have so many other people in the community who are gonna come in here and get a variance, and then a year later come back and get another small variance, and then come back and get another small variance. And we have to think in terms of the future and what board decisions that we have to make in the future. And when we make a decision like that, we encourage negative consequences, and we're not really willing to consider that. So I wouldn't be willing to consider any additional pyramid relief, even if you came back and said, I only want 200 feet.
Can I offer this as a suggestion? And we'd like to come back right away, but to make a comprehensive application. What we'd like to do is scale down the ceiling heights, but we still want the 30.5-foot relief.
31.5, yeah.
Because that wasn't part of the original application, and that's what really started this coming.
Well, you have the votes, I think, for the 31.5.
Yeah, I think it's the pyramid.
We'll withdraw the pyramid request.
How does that work? How does that work? Can we keep the same application then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they can,
And then it reverts back to the variance that was already granted.
yeah, we'll
But,
just
but
say
we're
that we
also
consider
going
this.
to then consider and probably grant the 31.5 setback relief from North Sea Road, correct?
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly, okay. All right, Robert, this is yours,
So,
so I think
are
we're
we
gonna,
closing it all
we're
for
gonna
written
close
submissions?
it. We're gonna,
I don't think we need any written submissions, right?
well, but
No, we
we
have to
always,
still-
we
okay.
always keep it open.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we'll have to make sure that we have plans showing the the
Okay.
house as previously approved.
I'll make a submission of the plans
Yeah,
pursuant to
just-
what we just.
Okay,
Perfect.
Okay.
okay, so that will
Okay.
be part of the written submission.
So we're going to close the public meeting, hold it open for written submissions until September 6th with a decision on September 19th.
Second,
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
aye.
Ms. King. Aye. Ms. Burgess. Mr. McDonald.
All right.
Mr. Redmond.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Number 5 on the agenda, Andrew Brandman and Kira Brandman, 57 Waters Edge Road, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-62-1-16. Applicant requests relief from the Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations that references 330-11, Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal rear yard setback from a required 70 feet to 21 feet for a proposed 2-story addition to an existing dwelling on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Hi, how are you? Do you want to state your name and address?
Yes, my name is Martha Reichert. I'm the attorney for the applicants and owners. I'm 2 Latham Shade, Kelly Doom, Cordelaro, 33 West 2nd Street, Riverhead, New York.
Okay, so you want to tell us about this application?
Sure. So, this particular property is in the R40 zone. It's a pre-existing non-conforming lot in the sense that it's undersized for the zoning district. However, it is comparable in size to all of the other lots in this area. The house was originally built, I believe, prior to zoning in the early 1950s, and it's had a couple of different additions, but this is the first time that this property has ever come before the ZBA for variance relief. In 1999-ish, swimming pools and additions were made to the home, which received a conservation board wetlands permit. And so the Conservation Board does have jurisdiction over this particular project. Applications have been made to the DEC, to the Conservation Board, and to Suffolk County Department of Health for a new IA system. The project that's before you that needs relief is the addition to the landward side of the house, which is to add an attached garage and some living space on the 2nd floor. In doing so, we're going to reduce some of the driveway and everything else, but it needs rear yard relief because since this is a waterfront lot, right, the front yard is the rear yard. In sort of designing the project with the architects, we looked very closely to the application, the decision of this board in 2009 with respect to, it was kind of eager at 73 Waters Edge, in which this board granted a rear yard variance permitting a garage addition, an attached garage addition to the house, to be 19.5 feet from the street. Here we're seeking 21 feet. We don't need any pyramid relief for it, and we have letters in support from the adjoining property owner to the north, Greg Savino, and then from Teresa English directly on the other side of Water's Edge.
Do you have a wetlands permit?
We are in the process. It's, you guys just scheduled us first for the
Okay.
public hearing. But yes, we've submitted an
Okay, we've submitted
application.
an application.
Correct.
So that would reduce the required setback to 35,
Correct,
which would be beneficial.
which would absolutely
Awesome.
be beneficial, and there's no way that we can do anything without the wetlands permit.
So
So
should we hold
obviously,
off on,
Yeah, this board doesn't grant, you won't get a decision from this board until you have your wetlands permit. Well,
That's-
your conditional resolution of approval from
Sure.
Marty, and we refer to them, so we'll hear back from Marty.
So what will sort of, just procedurally, how will we handle that? Will this just sort of be on hold until we finish with the conservation board, and then I'll let Candace know and?
We can, I mean, assuming that you're not gonna have any problems with the conservation board, we can close it with written subs. If you think there's a chance that the conservation board won't approve it, then you're gonna wanna keep it open. You know, if they wanna move it somewhere, I mean, it seems like you're maximizing your setbacks here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we'll be fine with the conservation board, but I think that only because we have applications with so many different agencies, I'd rather just keep this open.
So
until
then,
we have our
you know,
wetlands permit.
you could adjourn it for like a month or two and then come back.
Let's do 2 months because I'm not scheduled for a public hearing yet for conservation.
all right, before we do that though, is there any reaction? Kevin, I know you're the lead on this
So-
application.
I do have a few. I went around the neighborhood. I know the area of roads in my other parts of my life. I've been there, and most of the houses are modest size. Most of the houses have setbacks, frankly, greater than 20 feet. And there may be one instance where something might have happened. I looked on online on Zillow. I don't know if I had the right house, but there was a very small house that got a variance, and this is a substantial structure in comparison to the other structures in the neighborhood and around. And I'm concerned about a house 20 feet from the road. And there's a topography feature, which I'm sure you saw when you went there, where it dips down toward Robbins Lane, I think it is, also. And, you know, you need a retaining wall. So there's what's there now, which is well buffered and well screened, and what could be there, which is a fairly large imposing structure, close to 20 feet from the road with a retaining wall in front of it. And I worry about as you come up the hill in the neighborhood, whether you're riding a bike, you're walking with a baby stroller, that's an impact on the community far different than what they're used to seeing. And I have a concern about that, and I think there's just too much house for that lot in that area. And I'd like you to consider that and address it.
Well, let me just ask you, so when you said there is an existing slate retaining wall, it's pretty low, and there's pretty dense, mature vegetation all
Yep.
around, so it's pretty well screened.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure what you meant, if you could just elaborate a little bit on your comments about the retaining wall.
The existing retaining wall, is that what this survey shows right now?
Right.
And is that proposed to stay?
Actually, it's gonna be removed because the IA system is going.
Okay, and so from the topography of 22, 24, and 26, all that is, you know, kind of densely vegetated, and it's a little funky at the same time. And I'm just concerned about what all that will look like, you know, with a house 20 feet from the edge of a road.
So
Well, but it's not actually from the edge of the road, because if you.
I'm sorry, from the edge of the property.
Right.
Because if you look at the Biger decision with this board, one of the things that they found was that because the edge of pavement is actually further set back, they felt that even though it didn't conform to the front yard setback, it had the appearance of conformance because of the edge of the pavement. So again, we looked at that pretty heavily in terms of all of that, but one of the things that I think really distinguishes this property from so many of the other ones is that, again, this house was sited sort of at the top of the, you know, the slope. And in fact, if you look at both houses on either side of it from an aerial perspective, this house is set back further landward than a lot of the other developments. So some of those houses do have greater setbacks because they are actually in an environmentally less better position in the sense that they are further seaward than this existing house.
One thing I think that's fair to say about that neighborhood, there's little to no consistency in lot size and lot topography. It's fairly unique. So I understand the point you're making, but I'm not too sure that that's still good enough a reason to have. I mean, if your case is what's the distance from the pavement or the visible pavement that a person would see, I can't do that right now. But you know, when you come back, you can explain that a little better. But I still think it's too much.
May I ask a question?
So, I'm done. I made my point.
Okay. So from the GIS, I'm seeing a lot of vegetation on the rear yard line.
Yes.
Is that going to stay?
That's gonna stay, and if this board would like to perhaps see a supplemental landscape plan to create more screening, because, you know, I think that if memory serves me right from when I was at the property, a lot of it is cedars, right? And what tends to happen with deer browse and cedars over time is that you lose some of the street level. So we're working with a landscape designer right now with respect to our 75-foot conservation wetlands buffer. So, you know, perhaps while we're working on all of that, if this board thought that would be helpful in terms of mitigation, we can develop a planting plan.
And especially if it was green or full all year round.
Correct.
Nothing that would drop its leaves and then
you know, I actually
just
did
looking
go
through
to the
branches.
property as well. It is heavily vegetated. It really is. It's really
Can
quite
you see
heavily.
the property? Can you see the house from
You
the
can
street?
see the house, but it is surrounded by greenery. I mean, you know, on both sides.
The part that's the most visible from the street is sort of that front entrance facade, and
front
that's not really changing because where this sort of addition is tucked to the side
Yeah.
Right.
a little bit. So it's going to
Yeah.
be sort of covered by that L shape of heavy, dense
Right.
vegetation.
Very
But
dense.
again, if it would be something that this board would look upon favorably, we can develop a landscape
I
plan.
think we would
I
consider
think
that,
we
and I
would
also think the fact that you're going to obtain a wetlands permit, and if you do, the actual relief requested would only be 14 feet. And that to me makes a big difference.
Right.
We're not going from 70 to 21, we're going from 35 to 21.
Right,
And
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree
I
with that.
agree, and I drove around the neighborhood as well, and I think that, you know, a lot of those houses are kind of close to the street. I mean, maybe it's, you know, it's more than 20 feet, but hard to tell. I mean, it's not like everybody has like 100-foot front yards or 70-foot front yards, they don't.
Right, well, and again, because they're constrained by the
Yes,
water,
they
but also
are,
this.
that's right.
You'll,
That's
if you
right.
look at like the GIS, you'll see that all the lots sort of have this
Yeah.
almost pie-shaped
Yeah.
wedge thing,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's, from a zoning standpoint, it makes all these lots pretty difficult
Yeah.
to deal with.
Right, and if you put it further back, you would be
It
coming
more-
up against
the
side yards
wetlands,
and all of that,
Yeah.
so.
Correct, so we don't need side yard relief because of the way the
Right.
property is shaped. And like I said, we're gonna lose some of that driveway, we're gonna get an IA system out of it. This is the only place where there is sort of that room to expand.
And you're within the pyramid,
And we're within pyramid.
But
and
I
that's a big,
actually
that's a
think
big
it's a little
no for me.
excessive. It's not much, I just think that it could be brought back a little bit off the street. I mean, they have that second set of stairs going up there, it seems like they can come back 4 or 5 feet without even affecting. I just felt it was excessive to the street, I think the
Sure.
20 foot was,
What was
my
the
own
second
opinion.
set of stairs that you're referring to?
you have a set right here. So, in the garage. So with a
Oh,
two-car
you're talking
garage.
interior, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, well, because if they brought this back a little bit, my only opinion is I just thought it was excessively close to the street.
Well, so this is a two-car
Yeah,
garage, right?
see it.
And this staircase gets you
Yeah,
to
but you can
that.
still get the access from upstairs. They can make
Well-
access from upstairs.
If you look at the, sort of the second
Yeah.
floor plan. Like, we're discussing this with the architect. Right, it's not exactly connected. in
Well, they
terms
have a
of-
hallway here. This is not open to downstairs, right into there. My only opinion is I just thought it was excessive for the
Okay,
house
well,
and the
let me-
location. And I felt that they can get access up there without putting that second set of stairs in there and bring it back maybe 5 feet and be done with it.
We don't have to redesign it here. I
Yeah.
think the
No,
message.
that's fine.
No, I'm just trying to say that you
There's
can,
some
there's an
feeling on
option.
there's a
There's an
feeling on
option.
some feeling on the board that, you know, maybe you need to be a little bit more creative in terms of the setback. But I think John's point about going from 70 to 35, to
Correct.
get the
Once
wetlands
we get our
permit.
wetlands permit.
And it makes sense for you to consider a landscape plan, maybe pull it back a little bit before you come back to us. But you want, what, 2 months?
Let's do 2 months, and then if I need
Okay,
to
so
request
Kevin,
adjournment,
this
I
is
will.
yours, we're gonna keep it open.
And comments.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on 57 Waters Edge Road? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 57 Water Edge Road?
No one on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Kevin, yes,
Okay.
yours. Mhm.
So keep it open for 2 months. You got a date?
17?
No, October 17th, you want to go to November?
All right, so let's keep it open.
Martha,
Martha.
what would
Yeah.
you
On
prefer?
the second meeting in October, your first meeting in November.
First meeting in November.
First meeting in November is November 7th.
Okay, so we'll keeping the meeting open until the November, first meeting in November.
Yeah, November 7th.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Mastonia?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. Revin?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you, Martha.
Thank you, Martha. Number 6 on the agenda, application of Kristen and Mark Dracos, 101 Cold Spring Point Road, Tuckahoe, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-155-1-32. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for proposed 3-story dwelling on a non-conforming lot. 1. Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations to allow the proposed dwelling to be 3 stories where a maximum of 2 stories is permitted. And 2. Section 330-84D, height pyramid, a total pyramid encroachment in the amount of 695 cubic feet, 330 cubic feet on the east side, and 365 cubic feet on the west side of the property, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. One second, Suzanne is burdening me with written subs. That goes to Susan. Thank you. This is the original of this stuff. That's the original.
Okay, so that's it.
And
This
then
is
take
original
one of
also?
both of these.
try not to give you too much paper. It's all double-sided.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and address.
Susanna Herman and Consultants, 1319 North Sea Road, Southampton. You probably need to swear Mark in as well.
I do, because this is a different application. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
220 Shore Road, Southampton, New York.
Okay. All right, so tell us about this application.
So this property is located at 101 Cold Spring Point Road in Tuckahoe. It's in the R40 zoning district. It's undersized at 22,611 square feet. It is located on Peconic Bay, and a wetlands permit is required. It's also located in a flood zone. It's in the Velocity 8 flood zone, which means that the first floor elevation is required to be above 10. The lowest horizontal member has to be at elevation 10. So we are requesting a very small pyramid variance, 695 cubic feet, and we are requesting a 3-story house. We're requesting 3 stories because the lot is encumbered with the wetlands, and also the flood zone, and being an undersized lot. The wetlands line during the process of receiving a wetlands permit was actually moved further landward. Typically, when there's no vegetation at the site, we go with the high water mark. In this case, Marty Shea designated the wetlands line as the wash line of the rack line, which is basically a storm high tide at this property. So the house had to be slightly redesigned to meet the 100-foot setback from the wetland line, further encumbering the property. Wetland non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer. In addition to that, the homeowners have agreed to do native landscaping on the entire property, so it'd be nothing but native plants, even landward of the buffer. No treated wood would be used in the decking for the property as well. There would be a new IA sanitary system, and the grade in the front of the property would be the only place there would be any fill. That would be the minimum that would be required to make the sanitary system work and meet the separation to groundwater, as we're required to do. I've handed up some photographs and a list of variances to speak just to the character of the neighborhood. If you're familiar with Cold Spring Point Road, which you probably are, because at least those of you that have been on the board, you've seen a lot of variances. In my letter, I just detail the pyramid variances that we have on the street. There's at least 10 of them that I was able to find, some pretty big ones, up to 7,293 cubic feet, some of over 5,000 cubic feet, 2,000, 3,000. Like I said, if you're familiar with the neighborhood, that is the character of the neighborhood. A lot of the lots are on, I think all the lots are on the water, and
Across the street, they're not. Some of them are not, across the street.
Many of them are.
Many?
I'm not sure there are any that.
Oh, okay, maybe I missed the canal. Okay, maybe I missed the canal.
Yeah, I think every property in the neighborhood is on the water.
It is.
I think it was, I mean, this was, the whole neighborhood was created out of dredged oil, basically. So it's not something that we would see today. So a lot of this pre-existing non-conforming. So I've listed multiple examples of very large pyramid variances in the neighborhood. There is also a variance for a 3-story house at 121 Cold Spring Point Road. I've included copies for the file of all of these variances.
Where are they? Did you provide them to the board?
Yes.
It's these, right?
You mean you
the-
just give the one packet, just the one
actual
packet?
variances.
I think they're in Susan's packet.
Oh, only one, and that's the original? Yeah, we don't have copies of that.
I can give you a bunch of copies if you'd like.
I don't think you need to do
I'm
the
trying
don't do the pyramid variance
Okay.
reliefs. And the one that's the 3-story there was a whole different set of circumstances on that one. It was a pre-existing, I mean, there was, a building department involvement, there was a lot of issues with that, so I don't think that that's necessarily relevant to this discussion, but, okay. If you want to, that one would probably be.
I can provide, like I said, I'm trying not to waste
Yeah, no,
paper.
I
and
Yeah,
it's
we
a-
don't need the,
Cubic foot.
pyramid variance ones
No.
because your pyramid relief
It's
is very
minimal.
minimal.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
minimal.
Okay, that's why I didn't provide 12 copies of
Okay,
all of that paperwork.
okay.
But I assume that the chairman is familiar with that variance. That's not that long ago. I think
No,
it's
it
a
was
year
like
ago.
last year, I think, right, Katie?
I don't know,
2023.
I don't know. I
it was-
didn't see it, I don't know the name of it, I don't know.
Okay, I remember it clearly because I think I was the lead on that application also.
Right.
Yeah, that, it was a very different set of circumstances. And it was something that had existed for many years. It was a 2.5-story and then they added, a portion, I'm pulling this out of my head. I
Right,
mean, who knows,
right.
maybe
No,
I'm wrong.
that-
But it was pre-existing and it was, it was something where there was a history where we could track actually how long it had been there. So it was not,
Do you recall when that variance was entered?
I think it's
I think-
2023.
I think it was, you're not aware of that?
I don't remember.
Susanna, was it yours? Was it your?
No, it was John
John
Bennett's.
Bennett.
It was John
I
Bennett's.
can't remember anything from an address.
Okay, maybe
What's that,
Helen
Helen?
remembers.
I remember,
Helen remembers.
You remember it, Helen,
You
right?
remember when it was, Helen?
and your recollection is as good as it needs to be. And I waited for Susanna to give us any reasonable reason why this 3rd story.
Right.
Would that be the
I
date
would, I would,
10/9/23?
I heard it.
Could be.
John,
Yes.
there's a copy of it.
Okay, if I may. Thank you.
So yes, there were.
It was before I came on the board.
It seemed like a complicated situation. The house had been moved and it had maybe illegally been finished and the people bought it with the CO in place and
Yeah, it was.
It was the
very
legalization of an
difficult.
existing 3rd story.
there's
Is
also,
this house existing?
no, we're demolishing the existing.
No,
demolishing
this is a proposed.
Right, that's what I
Proposed
thought. I'm just
3-story.
double checking
Right.
and putting
Yep.
that on the record.
This is a,
Yeah, so I don't
the
think this
existing house
applies.
is non-conforming with respect to FEMA. It's at elevation 8 where, as I mentioned, 10 is required.
Right.
There's also a non-conformity with respect to the parking. The existing parking lot, which this is how they purchased the property,
Right.
is off the property,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
So that would be rectified, would be putting the correct number of parking spaces on the property.
I had some, talk to me about the 3rd story because this is not something that we generally approve.
Right, so obviously being in a flood zone, we have no basement. There's very limited room for storage elsewhere on the property. We're limited in the size of the footprint that we can have because of the undersized lot and the fact that we're on wetlands and the fact that we need to leave room for the sanitary system in the front part of the property. The 3rd story includes the mechanical room, it includes some storage, and then it includes 2 rooms that would be living space. So it's more like looks more like an attic. We are conforming with respect to overall height. We don't need a height variance.
It also includes a bathroom.
Right.
A full bath, it looks to be.
A bunk room, an office, and a bath.
Right.
The mechanical room is a very small sliver of it.
Right.
Is this an elevator?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, it seems to me you've got a game room and a gym on the 2nd floor. The bunk room in the office could go on the 2nd floor. I mean, I'm not sure, what is a bunk room? What does that mean?
It's when you have a lot of children and you
I-
want to put beds in there.
I'm asking for them to testify to it on the record. What is a bunk room? What are you envisioning the bunk room to be? Room with bunk beds?
When there is, there are children, there are two sets of parents, soon grandparents, and then this is a large house for a.
With 6 bedrooms.
Exactly.
How many children are there?
There are 2 children at the moment.
2 children, 6 bedrooms, and you need a bunk bedroom.
Well, this is what they'd like.
I know what they would like. It's excessive. It's excessive, and we generally do not. Oh, sorry, Helen. Go ahead.
Helen, go ahead.
I agree, I have yet to hear one sentence that would indicate that I'd be other than no on this third story. Not one sentence.
I mean, the square footage is, the cubic footage on the pyramid relief is minimal. But we don't generally, we don't
We
approve
don't, yeah, not
third-
generally
third
at all.
stories that are habitable space with an office and a bunk room and a bathroom. So, I personally am not in favor of it. I don't know if you're gonna get 4 votes on this board
Not getting
for a
it from me.
third story. You know, it's not the cubic footage, there was some question about the parking spaces, like, you know, a couple of the parking spaces needed to be eliminated from the plan. But, I mean, that's minimal. It's just the third story is a
What
real
is this-
problem for me.
Just for my edification, what are the ceiling heights in these floors? First, second, are they 8 feet? Are they standard, or are they
I
a little
think
extra?
they're probably 9 feet.
Because you've got a lot of room for,
But that isn't.
I mean, you've got a 3-story house that complies with height restriction.
Yes.
So you don't need height relief, which you wouldn't get anyway from us. And
So
it seems to me, go for your cathedral ceiling.
No, I don't know. I understand that you want more floor space for the family. I get why you want it. It's just that it's problematic, and you know we generally don't approve. You know what happens is that sometimes the bottom floor is mechanicals, garage, you know, non-habitable space, and then you get 2 stories above that. But that's not what you're proposing. You're proposing a completely different kind of. And I drove around the neighborhood, you know, again. And I don't think there are any other places other than perhaps the one that we granted the variance because of, you know, extraneous circumstances.
Number
I
7.
mean, they're high.
Yeah.
The cubic, you know, the pyramid relief is quite significant in that area, but I didn't see them as having 3 habitable floors. At least what I can tell from my eye look at it, you know, it wasn't like I was going to
A lot
knocking
of-
on doors, but.
A lot of the houses actually do look like 3 stories.
But the bottom floor is not habitable.
Right. I mean, I took photographs just to show you the character of the neighborhood. Figure number 7 at number 70 Cold Spring Point Road. That actually has a CO for a 2.5-story house.
Apparently that was something that existed at some point. But
Right,
yes.
which doesn't exist
Right,
in the
it doesn't
today's
exist.
code.
It doesn't
That
exist
would be
anymore.
considered a 3-story house.
Right, right.
And at 109 Cold Spring Point Road and 81 Cold Spring Point Road, if you look at these houses, and they definitely look like they
Yeah,
are
but it's
3
but it's
stories.
yeah. It looks 3 stories, but it's not functioning 3 stories.
See, and
So-
the other
Kevin,
thing
did you
is,
want to
yeah,
say
just,
something?
just a couple of things. So I know the area a little bit too, and I've been there in the past for other reasons, and I went back and it was very nice. And you know, there are communities in transition. There's some big structures, and there's some original
Right.
size structures. Whether they have 3 floors or not, I doubt it. There's just too many with 3, and I can't even begin to comprehend the nightmare we would face if we handed them out ever. So I think it's a really bad idea, and I would discourage you from continuing thinking it's a good idea.
and there's
I don't
other
think-
ways to reconfigure this, that the space that you're seeking on the 3rd floor, I don't see as a necessity such that it would create a hardship. I just don't see that leg of the 5-part test being satisfied by these plans.
That's just another reason, but the real reason being that we don't approve 3rd stories.
Mark, is there any way to do it with like creating a mezzanine? You know how sometimes the building department will look at
Yes.
certain spaces
Yeah,
not being a full 3rd story?
that becomes just a building department issue. If that bunk room were a playroom and it was a mezzanine, forever open to below.
Right.
That kind of thing is certainly a possibility.
Okay, so,
But you wouldn't be able to put beds there,
That's right.
Or a bathroom.
I
or a
don't,
bathroom.
Not sure about the
Or
bathroom.
bathrooms.
I don't know. I mean, there's a difference between the attic and the
Bathrooms
mezzanine.
are
The
not
mezzanine
habitable space.
doesn't, in
No.
the town code, I think there's a way to create it so that it's not considered a story, but I don't know what it is.
Is it open to?
Forever
yeah.
open.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't,
so it's got like a little like balcony thing.
Like a loft type thing.
That's exactly.
Yeah, but it's not really, it's not broken into rooms, it's, it's a whole
well,
different.
whatever it is, what I'm saying is it's not a
Yeah.
third story.
It's
It's
not
not,
habitable
no,
space.
it's not that it's not
Habitable
habitable. It's not considered a story.
No,
Kids can
it's not, don't get confused by the habitable space,
Mhm.
like bathrooms are not habitable space, and that kind of space could be habitable space, and that would trigger sprinklers, but it wouldn't necessarily mean that you couldn't have it if it was a mezzanine. That's how it counts.
I mean, you have approved 3 stories before with the lower level being garage with bathroom
Yes,
or
that's right,
laundry
that's right.
room or
Non-habitable
something.
storage, yes.
Even a rec room, I believe I got a 1/3 story variance that we got.
But that's
a couple
not,
years
that's
ago.
not necessary anymore because the town code was amended. So if you're in a flood zone, you're allowed to have that non-habitable spaces and it doesn't count as a story. So this board
That's right.
doesn't do that anymore.
We don't, but that's why those bottom floors are considered non-habitable, and that's what they're there for.
Yeah, we've done that several
Okay.
times,
Okay. Any other comments from the board?
No.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 101 Cold Spring Point Road? Anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 101 Cold Spring Point Road?
No on Zoom.
Okay, so how do you want to handle this? I don't think you're going to get far with the 3 stories, so if you want to leave it open?
We want to leave
Come
it
back.
open, and come back in a month.
Okay, so Candace, let's see what the date,
Well, a month is not gonna work.
yeah, all right, we're going to have to extend it.
Pardon me?
October 10, October 3 or October 17?
October 3? Okay. So I move that we adjourn this until October 3rd.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay,
Thank you.
October 3rd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 7 on the agenda, application of Helen Rogel and Tal Ayal, 100 Pine Avenue, Flanders, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-123-2-27. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 330-84D, pyramid law for a sky plane encroachment to the west in the amount of 646 cubic feet for a proposed second-story addition and any other relief necessary.
Do you guys have your affidavit of posting? Did somebody give that to me?
Our architect handled all of that, and he is supposed to be on Zoom.
Okay. Ken, did you get anything emailed? Who is your architect?
Anthony Portillo from Anthony
Is
Architects.
Anthony Portillo on there? All right, Anthony, if you can hear us, I need an affidavit of posting. You guys just gotta hold on a second, because we need the affidavit in order to open the hearing.
And I have to swear you in. Can I swear them in?
Nope.
We
Anthony,
don't know
do
if we have jurisdiction yet, that's
Anthony,
why.
do you have the affidavit of posting? We don't have it. Like, well, we're supposed to have it in order to open up. Can you scan it and send it? No, the affidavit of posting. Can you scan it and quickly email it to us so that we can open this hearing? All right, just quick scan it and send it to Candace. Want a second call this, or actually, since we have them up, you want to wait 5 minutes?
That's fine.
Since the Zoom is
Let's
working
wait.
perfectly?
Yes.
Yeah, scan it and send it over to Candace,
The
please.
Zoom is working.
I know, it's like I can hear him,
Mental
I can see
secret.
him.
Okay, just give us 2 minutes.
Thank you both.
And the reason I can't swear you in until we get that is that my lawyer has to tell me that we have jurisdiction, and that means we have to have all the papers.
As much as I love to see him holding it up, we're supposed to have the original in my hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Lucky he has a scanner.
Okay. All right, Candace, did you get it?
Say it again? It's K, Cowell, COWELL, at southamptontowny.gov. For the whole universe.
I think it all happened. It's okay.
My town email's still.
No,
They just can't seem to.
Get a new address.
They got a great. They tried to. Yours either, right?
Mine, I think it's because I'm on Mac. It's not in agreement with.
They sent it to my one.
All right, maybe we should have second called this.
I know, but
It should come.
I know,
Sorry,
but we
guys.
have people in the audience who've been here for a
Andy,
long
did you
time.
get? Andy, did you get it?
Yeah, you should receive it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go with the board has jurisdiction, okay?
We're gonna assume that
We're
we're
gonna drop it off,
receive
the
this-
original off to us tomorrow, Anthony, and Candace is gonna
Okay.
Thank
Since
confirm
my,
it.
since my attorney says that
Can you
we have
pass that to Susan for
jurisdiction,
me?
are either of you attorneys?
I am.
Okay, so please state your name and address.
My name is Helen Robel, 100 Pine Avenue, Flanders.
How do you spell Robel?
WROB as in boy, EL.
She's our applicant.
Okay, and you're,
My name is Tal, Tal. My last name is Eyal, and she's my wife, for the record.
okay. Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, lawyer and husband?
Yes.
So let's hear about your application.
If you, I'll present the application.
Okay, oh, and I will swear you in, yes. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Okay, please state your name.
Anthony Portola, architect, AFE Architecture, 1200 Main Road, Madison. 190.
Okay, Anthony, tell us about this application.
Sure, so I want to just start by saying we are in a flood zone. We're elevating the home to bring it outside of the flood zone. It is in a coastal A, it's in an AE8. And we are proposing a second floor addition on top of the home as well. We are asking for a pretty minor relief for pyramid. The amount of that, is stated on our plans, but that's 646 cubic feet. And it's mainly just a portion of the roof that is exceeding past the pyramid wall. And if you look at our elevation, we did attempt to have a pitched roof in that location. And it's really not much of a wall that's extending past the pyramid. And the main reason that this is happening is because of the need to elevate the home into the flood zone. One of the things I wanted to mention is there is sort of a mitigation already existing on the property. There's a retaining wall in front of the property, pretty much a foot or so back from the property line. So it does raise the grade, and it does create sort of visual mitigation already. And when it's elevated, it'll maintain that retaining wall. Actually, it's even going up about a foot because of the septic, the new IA system that we're putting in the front yard. We need a little more grade. So I think that really lends to a mitigation. One of the things I mentioned before is the location of the home. It's on really a dead end of the street. The neighbors aren't too close. The closest neighbor, which would be the left and third residence, the garage is towards that side yard. So really the neighbor's garage creates somewhat of a visual mitigation as well from this building. So like I said, I think it's a minor request, and really
Okay, either of you want to say anything?
Yeah, I will like to add that the property next to us, adjacent, it's a town of Southampton. It's never going to be built, so there was never going to be somebody that will be able to complain. And if we're not going to get it, basically we should have to shrink our to a bedroom, one bedroom that we literally cannot put even closet because we're shrinking. It's possible to build it without it, but it will be really it will hurt us by doing it, because literally the two bedroom will shrink by, I don't know, it's 100 square foot. So it's really living area. It's not for fancy. It's for, we're doing it's not investment. It's for our family, growing family.
So,
John, this
I
is
did
your
look at it, I
application.
thought it was a very reasonable application. For me.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine, I don't think,
You've been to the property?
I have been to the property. I did see the town property next door, which even made it easier, because it's not coming from anybody next door. And I think the other house is far enough away, so for me, I thought it was a reasonable application.
Yeah, I would agree. I think
Minimal-
it's very modest relief,
Yeah.
and I wish you good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for your extra closet.
Yeah.
Is there, Helen, do you have anything?
I think it's a very nice application, and I think it's a very good application.
Okay, good. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 100 Pine Avenue? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 100 Pine Avenue? Okay, John, this is yours. So we're going to hold it open for,
Just for the record, I didn't say we do have health department, we do have conservation approval, and then we do have EC. So that's
okay, good. So you're going to do written comments until September 6th and decision September 19th. You want to make that motion?
How about you make it so I can get it done this time?
Okay, so we're going to keep this open for written comments until September 6th with a decision on September 19th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia? Mr. Vernon?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. I made the motion. Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Good luck with everything.
Number 8 on the agenda, 2887 Deerfield Road LLC, 2887 Deerfield Road, Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-11-1-25.6. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations that references Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory side yard setback from 30 feet to 26.5 feet to legalize an existing detached garage constructed without the benefit of a building permit on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Who
All
has
right,
it?
Julie, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, Carl Benincosta, 60 Montauk Highway, Watermill, New York, for the applicant. This is a 82,236 square foot parcel located in the R80 zoning district off of Noyak Road. The lot itself, at its closest point, and when I'm talking about the lot, I mean the buildable portion, which I should note, the buildable portion is 63,000. It only gets to over 80,000 when you factor in the flagpole. So the buildable portion is actually constrained. But the lot is 850 feet from Noyak Road, so it's set up well far from the road. In 1988, I just passed the survey around, and in 1988, this home was built. And as you can see on that survey, which accompanies the CO from back then, there is a concrete slab. That concrete slab is now where this garage exists. It's a 450 square foot footprint of a garage that was built between 2010 and 2011 without the benefit of permits, so I can't get you the exact date. The applicant purchased the lot about 2 years ago, and in their purchase contract had a requirement for an updated CO. That updated CO was to cover what would be this garage. They would have to get permits for it. When the survey was obtained, we noticed that the garage was actually 3.5 feet too close to the side yard. Given the circumstances surrounding the closing and some negotiations with the seller, they proceeded with the closing and are here to legalize that garage. Under an R80 zoning district, an accessory structure like this detached garage needs to be 30 feet from the side yard. Again, this is 26.5. So 3.5 feet of relief. If it was a half an inch less relief, it would be a minor variance. We have been contacted by the neighbors, specifically the neighbor to the south, who was curious what was going on. When we informed her that it was just legalizing the existing garage, she had no problem. This garage has been there, as I said, for about 15 years at this point. It is minor relief. I would call it de minimis. The lot is subject to APOD regulations. Clearing is compliant. So the vegetation that is there is going to remain pursuant to town code. And there is significant vegetation between the garage and the nearest neighbor. And I don't know if Member Kane was actually went to the lot.
I did go, yes.
So you could probably attest to how vegetated it is.
Yes, it's very vegetated. It's a very unusual neighborhood.
Yes, they
all
all have
around.
these massive flag lots.
Yes, yes. And what was difficult for me was, my question was gonna be the neighbor to the south, because that looked like I couldn't see without walking onto the property, which I thought wasn't a great idea. How close and troublesome that might be, but it sounds like you've cleared that.
We did, and the neighbor to the south, their nearest structure is about, because their home is set back about 40 feet, so it's about 65 feet from the closest point of the garage. And obviously, most of the garage is compliant. It's only about 35 square feet of the footprint that is within setbacks. There are other variances in the neighborhood that have been granted for this relief. Most far exceed 3.5 feet. I can go through them, but one, it's 2795, was granted 14.4 feet of relief for a tennis court. There was a garage at 2420 Noyak Road that was proposed to be 20 feet from the side yard. This is 26.5. I know with existing structures, you like to know the cost of relocating it. I didn't get an exact estimate given the limited relief we're requesting, but I've talked to builders who said it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars to dismantle and relocate a 500 square foot garage, detached garage.
Which has been there for 13 years.
It's been there since 2010, yes. So 14 years.
Given the relief that's being requested, that would be ridiculous to ask you to.
I assumed you wouldn't, but I did ask because in case.
Well, I said it.
We do like it in the record, so. It's good.
I've talked to two builders. One said it would be about 200,000. One said 250.
Okay. This seems reasonable.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody
But
else.
I'm guessing it's more like 500.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. But whatever it is, I think it's a minimal amount of relief being requested, so I have no problem with it. Julie,
No
do you
problem
have any
with
more
it.
questions?
I do not.
Okay, anybody else on the board have with Helen, any questions?
I have no problem.
Okay.
So we're gonna
Okay, so-
close, oh, wait, anybody in the audience? No, we
Is there
said no.
anyone in the
You did that
audience?
already, sorry.
Did we? No, I don't know if we
No.
did. Anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 2887 Deerfield Road? Anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 2887 Deerfield Road? Okay, Julie, now it's yours.
Okay, so we're gonna close the public hearing, leave the matter open until September 6th with a decision slated for September 19th.
Second.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Mr. Revan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you. Have a great
Number
day.
9 on the agenda, application of Raymond Topping Jr., 231 Halsey Lane, Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-87-2-14.
You gotta read it.
You have to read that one.
Sorry.
Oh, I did?
Yes, please.
I thought I didn't read re-ads, okay. Applicant requests a determination that the subject parcel, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-87-2-14, is held in single and separate ownership from all adjacent parcels, and thus entitled to relief pursuant to Town Code Section 330-115D and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Katerina Grinko. I'm the attorney for the applicant, owner of the property at 231 Halsey Way in Bridgehampton. This property is in an R60 zoning district. It is a pre-existing and non-conforming to its current zoning in size lot. R60 requires 60,000 square feet, and currently the property is 38.4 square feet, 4.88 of an acre. Currently, the property has a single-family dwelling and a barn, and the property owner is seeking a single and separate determination since it has been in the family for many years. There was common ownership since the enactment of the law to 2013. The applicant acquired property as an inheritance from his late father in 2013, so the title was conveyed to the applicant through the specific device in the will. And
What was that date again, 2013?
2013, correct. And in fact, by virtue of the same will, Mr. Raymond Tapik Sr. also devised two adjacent parcels to his two other daughters, Lot 41, known as 185 Halsey Lane, and 12.1, both to the north. And Lot 41 was before this board in March of 2019 and received single and separate determination at that time. And I'll just, with your permission, distribute those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Also, this lot was part of 1957 Residence B zoning district, which allowed 25,000 square foot lots at that time, which probably explains its pre-existing non-conforming size. Throughout the generations, the Topping family owned it, and Mr. Topping Jr., the son of the senior, continues to own it and intends to keep it in the family. But you know, the estate is settling its affairs, and he just wanted to have this determination for the record for his family to have. And for those reasons, we are here to seek your decision.
Okay, I've been to the property, I'm very familiar with the property, I live nearby. Usually we ask a couple of questions. And was this property ever used, was there cross uses of this property and adjoining properties? I think it's clear that there was. I mean, there was a barn, there's there's roads that go back. I mean, I think it was clearly used as part of a family compound. And I haven't read this decision, but I mean, in terms of cross purposes. But I do believe that you have separate tax bills, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And were there any mortgages on the properties?
No mortgages, but it always maintained its own tax lot number,
Okay.
Its own address, and its own tax bill.
Okay.
And although it was used as a family compound, the lots to the rear were more used not more, they were used to store the crops. The barns are there, and they were accessory to the farm fields, which were, as you might know, recently sold to the County Land Trust. So the front lots were always used for residence. So the families lived there. The three-generation Toppings lived next to each other. The children, their grandparents, and their great-grandparents, and then that's how Dad did it. He transferred properties to his kids for residence, and then the rear lots were for the farming and the storage
it's just what people did here.
There seems to be a little bit of infringing, like there's a building in the back. I think it's a barn.
It's a barn.
But it's partly on Mr. Topping Jr.'s property.
The estate is as part of the estate settlement process. They're working and it's gonna be a demolished barn. So
Okay,
the
so the-
barn is not gonna be crossing the line.
Okay. What else did I have? There also seems to be a little bit of confusion because of their access roads. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of different access roads. I'm assuming that will also be clarified?
Correct, yes. So for the subject parcel, which is before you today, Mr. Topping is looking to just have one driveway into his property. Once this single and separate determination hopefully is in place, he's planning to put fencing and some trees to just have it more clear as to where his
More
land
definition.
is. Correct, yes.
This property's been in the family for like hundreds of
Great.
years. Yeah, hundreds
It's a
of
very,
years.
very
It's-
neat property.
It's lovely, and it's a long-term family here. I understand that there've been some cross purposes. I mean, they've been using each other's properties, but I personally have no problem with the single and separate determination.
But just for the record, though, the cross purposes doesn't mean that it's been used as a family compound. It means there's a house on one property and there's a pool on the other property.
I see.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, they had a house and then there was a barn and they used the barn. I mean, there's some overlap, I think.
But I mean, we would need testimony that it was, I mean, the farmer can, it means pool and house. It doesn't mean house and barn, because agricultural properties can have barns on them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it really
okay.
means.
I'm glad you clarified it,
Yeah.
because I didn't really see a problem with it, but I don't
Yeah,
want
but
to
you
ignore it as
yeah.
a.
Well, and
as
I
a-
don't want their testimony being that they were, that they were used like that. They weren't used, you know what I'm saying?
Not accessory to the residence.
Correct.
The barn was
Its own principal use.
accessory to the farm fields,
Fields,
which,
yes.
which
Okay.
are further to the rear, not to the front.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Is there anybody else who has a question on this?
No.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on, what's it? It is 231 Halsey Lane. Anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 231 Halsey Lane? Okay. Helen, this is yours. Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Burgess? Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Ms. Mascario?
Aye.
Mr. Redden?
Aye.
And Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Before you go to the next case, just for the record, for case 7, Helen Mobile, I do have the updated motion.
Thank you.
For the record.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, number 10.
We were
on the-
legit.
Number 10 on the agenda, application of Stacy Russell, 10 Birchwood Lane, East Quad, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-291-3-19.
Mr. Taylor, I believe you are still sworn in. You have been here before, right? So
Yes.
tell us about this application.
Well, we reduced everything down to below the standards that you asked for before. And we want to put this on, this addition on. We have no basement, and we want to, like storage.
Okay, do we have a new survey? I think we do.
It looks like the board received, I don't know when you got it, but it looks like the board received revised plans August 7th. And do you know, the last number that I had written down was 4,056 cubic feet? Was it reduced further?
No, it was reduced, yeah.
Reduced further?
I
Do you have
think
any
it's now
And it all,
3,000,
yes.
3,002.9 cubic feet. Okay, and the height is still at 20 feet, I believe?
Has anyone else on the board seen these new plans?
I got them in the
Yeah, my guess is they
packet.
should have been in your written submissions.
Oh, they're in the written submissions
No.
tonight?
No,
No.
I got them in my packet.
I got a separate packet.
But there was a second packet that came.
Yeah, but mine had a 3310 Noyak Road.
That was it?
That was all I had in that packet.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah,
I got it,
don't
I
see
got
that.
it in that separate packet.
Oh, here's, it's 3310. No, I don't have it either, I don't think.
I got it in the separate packet that came, and it included those other things as
A whole
well.
bunch of submittals in it. It was that one, it was 3310 was in there, his was in there, and I think one or two other applications.
Right.
Julie, yours would be a package that, John. picked
Right,
up.
yeah, I'm checking it out, I might be confused.
If you have it, I'd like to see it.
Right, so
Here.
the most revised is
Here,
about
Tom.
3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's now down to 3,000, and the side yard setback is now 7 feet, as opposed to what was the original, I think it was.
5.2.
Right, so I mean, this is a small lot. I mean, it's narrow. You know, there are constraints to this. I personally appreciate the fact that you have taken some time to try to come up with a solution. I know there was a suggestion about locating the garage in the backyard. Was there any discussion on that or not?
Well,
What was the problem with that?
well, we really wanted to stay close to the house instead of, instead of going into the backyard, walking, like, just say in the
All right.
bad weather.
Okay,
that's-
so it was a matter of access to the house?
Yes.
As opposed to sticking it way in the backyard where you were unable to use it in terms of storage and
Yes.
everything else? Okay. John, you didn't receive that then?
Not that I recall. I went through everything today.
Okay, I definitely did get it in a separate package, so,
I just had 3310 Noyak.
okay.
And does the revised survey take off one of the sheds? I feel like there was discussion about removing one of the sheds.
Yes.
Yes?
the
Okay.
sheds are gonna be removed,
Which shed, where is that?
yes.
Survey.
The larger one. I think the 10 by
The 10
14.
Okay, 10, and that says, the survey doesn't say to be removed.
And
Okay,
the
well,
pyramid.
I-
Oh, I'm sorry. Answer her question. I apologize.
No, we had said before that shed was
Okay.
gonna be removed.
Okay.
It's just, it's just for storage now.
Yeah, okay.
And the
But-
pyramid relief is only with regard to the space above the garage. And what is in that space? Is that just raw attic space?
Yes, just.
Storage space.
Okay. Katie, do we need the survey to say to be removed for that shed?
I mean, normally we do. I feel like he's already done so many revisions.
Yeah,
I think
I
if we could just put it as a condition prior to issuing any certificates that should be removed.
Okay. The 10
You've
by
done some work
14
on this.
frame, yes, you have done a lot of work on this.
Yes, thank you.
I have no problem with the revisions. Any other comments from the board? Is anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on 10 Birchwood Lane? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 10 Birchwood Lane? Okay,
John?
this is yours.
No, John.
Oh, it's,
John, it's yours.
no, it's not, it's Keith's.
No, it's Keith's.
It's Keith's, so I'm gonna take this.
Oh,
Oh, it's now John's?
Oh,
Okay, John, now it's yours. Sorry, it was Keith's.
We've lost some numbers.
Hey, Susan, I'm gonna pass it to you.
Okay, I am going to, I'm gonna hold this open for written comments, close the public hearing, hold it open for written comments until September 6th, and with a decision on September 19th. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Revan?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with everything.
Okay.
Okay, number 11 on the agenda, application of Frank Michio 47 Oaks Avenue, Flanders, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-123-3-9.
Evening.
Hi.
Lori Fontana, McDonough and Conrad Architects, 2385 Main Street, Bridgehampton.
Have I sworn you in? Susan?
Okay. Lori Fontana.
Or these are just two,
The two full scale.
but the rest are just the reduced ones, right?
Correct.
Lori.
Yes.
Can you pass those to Susan as well? Thanks.
Sorry.
Okay, hold on, let me just do the
Yep.
distribution
No, that's
and
fine.
then we'll hear what you have to say, Lori.
Okay, so we originally came before you for a variance for 2 sheds and a viewing platform for a fish pond. We have since agreed that shed B will be removed completely. We will be relocating shed A and still asking for a pyramid variance, but no longer a setback variance on the shed A. Let's start with shed A,
Is shed A the frame shed or the vinyl shed?
the frame shed.
Okay, so vinyl shed is being removed.
Correct.
Okay.
So
Other way around?
All right,
What was that?
no, the metal shed is the small shed.
It's the frame shed, is the metal shed.
The metal shed is being removed. The frame shed is being moved.
so the vinyl shed,
Yes.
wait a second, wait,
It's a vinyl framed shed.
and that's being moved, you would come up, Mr.
Yeah.
Embo.
So
I
that one
think
is,
we've also
yes.
sworn you
So
in.
that one
Just
is
state-
going to
Just
be-
wait a second, just state your name and address, please.
Frank Nicchio, 47 Oaks Avenue, Flanders.
Okay.
So if you look at the existing site plan that you have, the smaller, it's in the plans, the site plan is in the plans, the new plans.
Okay.
So the small 8x8 shed is going to be taken down and removed. The 10x12 shed is going to be moved over to the other side of the property.
Where's, to where it says new shed
To the
location?
shaded area.
Okay, got it.
Correct.
Okay.
We would like to leave the existing wood deck platform where it is, still asking for that minor pyramid relief and setback relief.
So will you need setback relief for the new shed location?
No, we do not.
Okay.
So the only thing.
I think that's what we had.
Only thing I need is a 9.05 cubic foot for pyramid on that shed. That's all I need.
I know, it's.
Oh my God, so much.
Could you please
Oh my
give it to
God.
me?
What are you doing to us?
Wait, what's the,
And
what's the
then-
ceiling height in the shed?
It's not a deck, it's not a deck.
No third story.
And then the shed, we would ask for the 7 foot or 6 foot 2 setback relief, and then the 9.24 cubic feet of pyramid. Please and thank you.
So, just to be sure I'm following this, you're
Alright.
taking one down, you're putting another one in a conforming location.
Correct.
You wanna leave one shed and you need the relief you just enunciated.
Yes.
And the
And
deck.
wait, repeat
the
that
deck
again,
for the
what it
fish-
is.
Right.
So you need
So-
9.05 cubic feet of pyramid relief for the shed.
Correct.
You need no setback relief for the shed.
Correct.
And you need setback relief for the existing wood deck
Yes.
in the amount of
I think it's 6.2 feet.
6.2 feet. Oh God, another big number.
Sorry. And we also need pyramid relief on that because the railing is impeding on the pyramid.
How much is that?
How much is that?
That is 9.24 cubic feet.
Okay.
So a total of 18.
Okay, we should be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Denied.
additional work that you did.
Don't do that.
Trust me.
18.29 cubic feet.
Okay, you know, it's a lovely pond and everything. back there.
Well, that's why we really
It's
don't wanna
beautiful.
move
You know,
the
when I put
platform.
it, I didn't know it was a problem with the shed, so I bought the home. So
Yeah.
I had the other one put the crate, so then I put the pond in. Well, now I need to see the fish, I put the little flag over it.
I
Now, no,
actually,
need permits
I
to do
actually
that
think
stuff.
it's gonna open up your
Yeah,
backyard,
it
what
will,
you're
it'll move
doing.
over. I'll
You know,
redo the whole-
sometimes these things turn out for the better,
Right,
in kind of a way, but, I'm sorry you had to go through this, but,
Birds bother the fish.
but we definitely,
Do the birds
All
bother
right,
the fish?
I'd like a written submission from you, looking at the relief and telling me what you need and confirming that it's
Can
on.
I send it to you?
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
yes,
You
as
have,
part
you
of
have
the
2
Can I
weeks.
do Candace, can I send it to
Yes,
Candace?
yes, but that's what I'm saying. I want to know it, how we've written it up
Absolutely.
here, and I want you
will
to make sure
absolutely
that
do that.
those setbacks are on the survey and the pyramid is on the
So the
plan.
new survey, we didn't do yet, for the simple fact that he keeps paying for surveys
Yeah,
that,
These people are crazy now. Everything I add. is
Okay, well,
all
we
survey.
need it
But
for
we
the
need-
decision.
No, I understand that,
for
but
us to actually vote on this, we're gonna need the written submission, which clarifies exactly what the relief is that you're asking for.
correct,
Plus an updated survey to reflect that.
okay.
And once we have that, we'll be able to, actually vote on this.
So the survey can say to be removed though, on
Yes.
those things, okay.
Yes, it can say to be removed, and then like it says in the plans, I mean,
Yes, no,
it's
exactly
it's
like that.
it's there already,
Okay.
really, so.
Right, and
Um,
just backing up, because the board had asked for millions of written submissions from the last hearing. So that will include the revised survey, there cannot be any plus or minuses on it.
Yeah,
Can't
that's,
remember
that
if
we're
that
gonna
was
have.
here.
That was in the
we're-
notes.
We are
Um,
trying to get a new surveyor because they refuse to take the plus or minus off.
Okay, and we also
I'm-
need, for whatever shed is remaining, we just need a letter from an architect saying that it can withstand,
Wind.
winds, it's a
Yeah,
typical
we-
letter.
I'll take care of that.
Okay,
Awesome.
Okay, so I need letter,
Right.
survey,
So,
and description.
right.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so.
If we can't make it in 2 weeks, because if we can't get the survey done, then do I call Candace and ask to hold it over to the
Yes.
next one?
Which is the term,
Absolutely.
Let's put it on for, what, it's really 2 weeks for the written submissions and then 4 weeks for the decision. If you need more time, we'll just adjourn it, but it's good to probably have it on.
Yeah, for
Because you
now,
have
yeah,
Labor Day in between.
yeah.
Okay, so this is mine, so I'm going to say we're going to hold this open for written submissions until September 6th with a decision on September 16th,
Second.
19th, sorry.
Second, whatever.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Rubin.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you for all your
Thank
hard
you.
work on
Thank you
this
both.
and enjoy your property,
Have a
it's
good night.
lovely.
Somebody else here.
Where am I?
think
Okay,
it's
number
this.
12 on the agenda, application of Gary Fitterman, 645 Dune Road, West Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-391-2-25.1.
Are they on Zoom? Oh, there, yeah, it is.
Okay, okay. Have I sworn you in before?
Yes, so it's a, second.
Okay, so we just state your name and your address again.
Architects, Associated Realty Custom Architects, PC, behalf of the owner, Gary Fitterman, 509, County Road, 39, Southampton, New York.
Okay, so where are we on this application?
All right, so, at our last hearing, there was a letter that was issued by Marty Shea. We did finally receive that letter after the hearing. We did, resubmit revised plans, trying to, adhere to, a lot of the comments that were recommended by the board, and also, Mr. Shea's letter. We did, however, receive today about 4:30 letters from Jenna Scher, it was dated 8/15/2024, and Mr. Arthur Beerhauser dated also August 15/2024. As far as the relief, let's go to that real quick, the reductions. So, we reduced the first floor by
hundred and 41 square feet, or 6%. I'm sorry?
But who says something?
Nobody said anything.
Oh, okay.
You can keep going.
That's something.
Uh,
Yeah, I heard
the
it something.
second floor,
Vibration.
221 square feet, reduction for 11.3. With the total reduction in floor area is 371 square feet, or a total of 8.4%. The lower level was reduced to 140 square feet, 8%. We also reduced the original footprint from 3,789 square feet to 3,089 square feet, or 700 square foot reduction, 18.5%. This addresses the sheriff's comment regarding the original footprint was a 73%. We reduced it down to 62%, or 11% reduction. One of the big comments was the retreat, to retreat further from the crest of the dune. We've done that by reducing it an additional 8 feet. We are now 60.5 feet to the dwelling on the crest, and we are 40.5 feet to the decks in the pool. For reference, the original dwelling was 49 feet 6 inches from the crest of the dune, and the deck was 22 feet 10 inches from the deck. So we significantly decreased the setbacks from the crest of the dune. I would also like to address some of Mr. Shea's recommendations. Numbers 1 and 2 specifically, those would actually put us into more of a variance. The cubic foot relief on the permit would be approximately 6,000. So we've actually reduced it. His recommendation was to make the house 40 feet by 48 feet. The house is now 40 feet 4 inches wide by 49 feet 8 inches deep. We've also reduced the original pyramid relief from 2,987.79 cubic feet to 2,579.15 cubic feet.
Can you just say those figures again, please? It was, the original was what?
The original was 2,987.79 cubic feet. We reduced it to 2,579.15 cubic feet, or a 13.67% reduction. There was a comment on Mr. Shea regarding the abandonment of the swimming pool and locating it to the roof. We do not believe that that's feasible, mainly for structural reasons. Also, it will increase the degree of nonconformity with the structure. We add approximately another 4 to 6 feet, including the depth of the pool. We do intend to comply with all of the survey and sanitary revisions once we receive direction from this board. We will also comply and provide revegetation plans once this board has come to consensus. The side yards we've also reduced, so now we are proposing 15 feet and 10 feet 7 inches on the side yards. If there's any further questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, it sounds like you did a lot of homework. You definitely took into consideration Mr. Shea's letter and his comments. You definitely reduced your cubic foot request, and your side yard setbacks have been increased. You reduced the footprint of the house. And I'm yeah, right. And Whose application is this? This is
Robert's.
Robert's. Robert, do you want to make a comment? So-
No, I'm pleased with all the concessions that were made in the new application. I've changed the application. I don't have a problem with it.
Have you heard from neighbors?
No.
You haven't heard from
There
neighbors?
was a neighbor here, I think I seconded it.
Okay. Any other comments from the board?
No?
No.
Oh.
Okay,
Helen?
Helen, go ahead.
I would like to see the letter from Janet.
The letters from,
Janet, she said you received the letter today.
you know, came in the submittals.
I have her copy now.
Okay, I honestly have not read it. It came in our packet of submittals put on our desk tonight, so I haven't read it, but we'll take a look at that. Okay.
I just want to mention that we believe that the letter from the sheriff was from the previous survey.
Yes, it was.
Referring to,
Yep.
and the plans. So I don't know if you see the updated plans. We know we have an updated survey because we want to make sure that we're conforming to whatever the board.
Okay, so we're lacking a survey,
So,
An updated survey.
an updated survey. Okay.
so I'd like Anthony stepped out, but I'd like the planning staff to, or Janice's staff to review the memo they sent us for August 15th against the new survey to be sure that
No, they won't,
issues
they won't do
raised have
that.
been reconciled.
Nope, they won't do that. This is her recommendation to the board, so the it took Janice a while to get us this.
Okay, but here's what I'm getting at. If this is based on a different survey and we have a new survey that we haven't seen and we're waiting for, this somehow has to get reconciled. Did these comments get addressed or not?
That's what he's speaking to.
Okay. Well,
I mean, that's typically what happens is that, we refer out the first application, we get comments back, then the applicant takes it into consideration, makes modifications, and then they present it to you, and they say, is this sufficient? They may do everything that Janice recommends or Marty recommends, or they may do part of it, and then the board decides whether that's sufficient. Because they're here before for variances.
okay, but I'm reading a memo without a survey that is supposed to explain some of this. That's all. I'm just trying to figure this out.
I'm looking for the memo.
That's in today's written submission.
Yep.
At the very back.
Okay, it's in the back?
Ryan,
Okay.
did you give us a written submission showing, going through the standards in chapter 138? Because we need that as well. Chapter 138 has its own standards for variances, so we just need a written submission on that. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Can we get the survey and give Janet an opportunity to see what else the applicant should do rather than making a date or having a decision? I'd rather if we can adjourn.
To hold it open. If you'd like me to hold it open, we can hold it open then.
Right,
I
and what are we
think that-
basing, how are we verifying the reductions in the pyramid?
Plans.
I mean, it's great that the witnesses testified to this,
For the
but
reduction in pyramid, you have a new set of
Yeah, we have new
diagrams. You don't have a
plans.
survey, but you have the new pyramid
We have the new
diagram,
plans.
which is the letter that Arthur houses. We had to do it this afternoon,
Mhm.
verifying the amount of pyramid relief that's being requested. So there is a new set of plans in your.
wait, I saw that.
Yes.
We have it.
So he's saying
I
that he
think
doesn't
I
have the
just
updated survey, but
incorporated
he
it.
has the plans.
That's
These plans came in our packets, John.
They did.
These plans here. Dated, yeah, these are the ones that show the reductions. Came in our
It
packets.
should be July the 20th.
Yeah. If I can read it.
It might be in the same package.
Jesus, that same packet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it did come, it was in the same packet, yes. Yeah, all right, you maybe didn't receive that, but, Helen, Mr. Rubenstein was basically saying that they were holding off on doing a new survey to know if in fact this would meet with board approval, but you're saying we need to take a look at the survey in order for us to do a board approval. And I kind of agree with that.
You
I mean,
okay?
generally, we like to see the survey and make sure that everything is reflected accurately on the survey, consistent with
With the new plans.
with what the plans say and what we agreed to. But I think you're getting a positive reaction to the reductions and the improvements on the plans. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds like you're
It
getting
sounds nice.
a positive reaction from the board, maybe not the full board, but enough of a positive reaction from the board that we could probably ask you for the survey.
Could
The
we-
additional information will clarify is the
Katie, could we
uncertainty.
do it as a written sub or have to hold it open?
I think the board wants them to come back once they have the survey in hand,
Yes.
because what the architect is saying is that he's pretty much hit the highlight in everybody's memo, so let's confirm it.
And some of us haven't had the memos, so I think it makes sense, we're gonna have to have you come back. Just, okay.
How long do you think you can get that, sir?
I will call the circle.
You want, what should we do, Candace, October?
What was the next?
October 3rd?
I think we're gonna.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold the meeting open till October 3rd for further
Second.
documentation.
Okay. Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Redden.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
And Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Thank you very much. You too.
Okay.
Okay. Moving along.
Okay. I guess we're down to decisions. Okay. All right, who's got a decision? Julie, do you have
Who
a
has
decision?
Mark Greenberg?
I have Mark Greenberg.
Why don't you start, Julie?
Hit it.
Okay.
I have two.
Mark Greenberg, Suffolk County Town Map 900-24-2-10. This application is for property located at 12 Island View Drive, East Noyak. Applicant requests variances for a proposed swimming pool and addition to an existing dwelling on a lot that has challenging topography and an existing house that is not centered on the lot. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1. Town Code Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal rear yard setback of 36.2 feet, where 50 feet is required for a proposed one-story addition. And 2, Town Code Section 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts, and Town Code Section 330-83C, yards, to allow a proposed swimming pool to be located within the minimum required side yard for the principal building. As shown on the survey prepared by George Walbridge Surveyors PC, last revised on February 5th, 2024, and the floor plans and elevations prepared by Benjamin Wright Chalif, R.A. of Chalif and Rogers, architects, dated February 15, 2024. The granting of this relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as the applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Mr. Redden.
Aye.
And Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
And Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
You want her to just
Should I
do the
just do
second one, or-
Spotto?
Go ahead.
While I'm on a roll. I just
You're on
can't
a
read
roll.
as fast as John Leonard. That's my goal in life.
Yeah.
Patricia Spotto, Suffolk County Town Map 900-97-2-7. This application is for property located at 33 Ragnar Lane, North Sea. Applicant seeks variances for a proposed addition, wood deck, and screened porch on an undersized lot burdened by 2 front yards. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1, for a proposed addition and screened porch, little I, Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations, that references Town Code Section 330 11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal front yard setback of 29.7 feet where 40 feet is required. I, Town Code Section 330-115D, continuance for a principal minimum side yard setback of 8.4 feet where 10 feet is permitted, and a total side yard setback of 18.5 feet where 20 feet is permitted. I, Town Code Section 330-84D, Pyramid Law for a sky plane encroachment in the amount of 89 cubic feet on the east side, and little IV, Town Code Section 330-11 for a total lot coverage of 22.32% where a maximum of 20% is permitted. And 2, for a proposed wood deck, relief from Town Code Section 330-83A4 yards to allow a deck that will be higher than 1 foot above ground level to be located in the required front yard at a setback of 16.3 feet on a non-conforming lot. All is shown on the survey prepared by Stephen Barliski. Sorry, Mr. Barliski. LS, last revised January 8, 2024, and the plans and elevations prepared by Sean Leonard, RA, dated January 17, 2024. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the maintenance of all existing screening by the applicant and all successors in interest.
Second.
Ms.
I'll let
Kay.
you have that one.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Redden.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, John, you have?
Okay, I have a decision in the application of Ocean Road Real Estate LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-87-2-18.1. This application is for property located at 412 Ocean Avenue, Bridgehampton. Applicant requests variances for a proposed 55 by 110 sunken tennis court. With a condition that the existing dense vegetation be maintained, this application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations, that references Town Code Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory rear yard setback of 20 feet where 30 feet is required, and an accessory side yard setback of 25.8 feet where 30 feet is required for a proposed 55 by 110-foot tennis court. As shown on the survey prepared by Robert A. Smith, Squires Holden, Weisenbacher, and Smith, last revised March 28, 2024. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the continued maintenance of all screening on the rear and side property lines of the existing vegetation by the applicant and all successors in title.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Ms. Mastonia.
Aye.
Mr. Redden.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
Okay, I have a decision an amended decision in the matter of Dean Isidro, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-26-1-45. This application is for property located at 1 Lily Pond Drive, Sag Harbor. Applicant requests a modification of a previous ZBA decision to include a setback for an accessory building shed. This modification passes the standards set forth in the New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, CBA decision number D019092, dated July 18, 2019, is hereby amended to grant relief from Town Code Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory distance from street setback of 40.9 feet where 110 feet is required for a proposed accessory building as shown on the survey prepared by Jeffrey W. Haderer of Twin Forks Land Surveying, last revised January 30, 2024, and the plans and elevations prepared by Pine Harbor Wood Products dated December 1, 2021. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as the applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises. All other provisions and conditions of decision number D019092 remain in full force and effect.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Redden.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And finally, I have a decision in Agron Ashlani, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-230-2-33.2. This application is for property located at 19 Ocean View Road, Hampton Bays. Applicant requests variances to legalize an existing shed and outdoor shower constructed by a previous owner. While this board does not condone construction done without a permit, it does find that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1. To legalize an existing shed constructed without the benefit of a building permit, Town Code Section 330-6 that references Town Code Section 330-11 Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory distance from street front yard of 0.6 feet where 70 feet is required from the westerly property line. Town Code Section 330-84D Pyramid Law for a sky plane encroachment of 315 cubic feet to the west, and Town Code Section 330-76D placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and Town Code Section 330-83C yards to allow the shed to remain within the required front yard for the principal building, and 2, to legalize an existing outdoor shower constructed without the benefit of a building permit, Section 330-6 and 330-11 for an accessory distance from street setback front yard of 17 feet where 70 feet is required from the westerly property line, and an accessory side yard setback of 1.9 feet where 20 feet is required from the northerly property line. Town Code Section 330-84D for a sky plane encroachment in the amount of 144 cubic feet to the north, and Town Code Section 330-76D placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and Town Code Section 330-83C yards to allow the outdoor shower to remain within the required front yard for the principal building, as shown on the survey prepared by David H. Fox, L.S., last dated January 9, 2024, and the plans and elevations prepared by Daniel N. Carpin, P.E., dated January 22, 2024. The granting of this relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicants have already acquired and may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Bevan.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, Bob, you're up next.
Katie, should I read the minor first?
Yeah.
This is for the minor application of Judson Ain Revocable Trust, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-81-1-25.2. This is a minor application for property located at 1041 Head of the Pond Road, Watermill. Applicant requests a front yard variance for a proposed two-story addition to an existing dwelling. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations that references Town Code Section 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimension Regulations for a principal front yard setback of 62.5 feet where 80 feet is required for a proposed two-story addition, as shown on the survey prepared by Floyd Carrington of Rayner and Marks in Carrington, last dated May 10, 2024, and the plans and elevations prepared by Nicole Adams, registered architect, dated May 14, 2024. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Bevan.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
Keep going.
Yep, keep going.
This is the application of William Dawson, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-308-5-44. This application is for property located at 710 Patrick Street, West Hampton. Applicant requests a variance to legalize a storage shed built without the benefit of a building permit. While this board does not condone construction done without the benefit of a building permit, it does find under the factors and circumstances that this application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of Town Code to legalize an existing storage shed that was constructed without the benefit of building permit. 1, Town Code Section 330-6 that references Town Code Section 330-11, Resident District Table of Dimensions Regulations for an accessory side yard setback of 3.9 feet where 8 feet is required for an accessory rear yard setback of 5.2 feet where 8 feet is required, and 2, Town Code Section 330-84D, Pyramid Law, for a sky plane encroachment of 238 cubic feet as shown on the survey prepared by Jeffrey W. Hardner, licensed surveyor of Twin Forks Land Surveyor, last revised December 28, 2023. The granting of the relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premise.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, I have, does anybody else have one? Because I have a last one for Helen. I have a decision in the matter of 142C Newtown LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-186-2-28.3. This application is for property located at 142C Newtown Road, Hampton Bays. Applicant seeks a rear yard setback from a right-of-way for a proposed two-story dwelling. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-11, Resident Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for a principal rear yard setback of 39.1 feet, where a minimum of 60 feet is required for a proposed two-story dwelling, as shown on the survey prepared by David H. Fox, LS, last revised April 22nd, 2024, and the floor plans and elevations prepared by Brian Patrick Brady, R.A., last revised August 3rd, 2023. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, do I have a
Motion to
motion?
close.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.